You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
I don't acknowledge you.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 424th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, we have Ray. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, hello.
And Jess. What's going on, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And tonight, we have first-time appearer and all-season-long submitter to the Roundtable project, Katherine. What's going on, Katherine? Welcome.
Hello.
Glad to have you on the show. So tonight, everyone, we will go through our gameplay as usual. And Katherine, make sure we ask you a little bit about your Fallout history. And we usually ask about your usual play style versus what the Roundtable has handed you and how that has affected you and such. We'll also get into a feedback that Cosmo submitted last week, so we'll get into his roundup of the Fahaba. Also, we're getting into the Automatron tonight, their sort of middle intermission, section of the quests for our Roundtable project this season. And a little bit of game time supplied by Katherine. Bold move on your first appearance to bring a game, Katherine. That's kudos. That's great. Also,
Thank you.
Also, we've got a little bit of iguana bits regarding the Fallout TV show, a little summer camp and calendar review, and more Starfield videos. A little special segment on a rollout. If you're a longtime listener, we haven't done it in a while. But we like to talk some Fallout food. So we've got a little a breakfast segment coming up. A couple of Scorecation shouts on our way out the door, and that should wrap up our show for the evening, guys. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. Hey, Jess, did you get a chance to play any Fallout this week?
I did. I played some Fallout for real. Yeah, it was a pretty great Fallout week. I played mostly Fallout 4, had to catch up, wrap up some of the Far Harbor stuff that was left over, get back to the Commonwealth and pick up. I had a couple of goals. One of my major goals was to get to the point where I could get Curie a body. Because Curie is my romance, and Drake is supposed to be romancing Curie, and she's not really into the robots. So right now there's like a totally platonic. She thinks Curie is cool. Curie feels the same, but there's no sparks flying. I mean, except for the robot kind. So if we don't want actual sparks to fly, Curie needs a body. So that was goal number one. Goal number two was, of course, to get to where I could do all of Automatron and get that done. Because while I had started it and done the first quest, unleashing robots on the Commonwealth, which, oh my God, what a mistake. Once again, we said it back in the day, but if you're playing in survival and you don't want robots attacking you constantly, destroying your settlements and people, they are hard. They are harder than a lot of enemies. Don't unleash them upon yourself. You did it to yourself, okay? You should feel bad. And I did. So anyway, Fallout 4. So I did lots of railroad with Deacon. My thought was when I came back was if I got the railroad quest far enough, I would unlock it to where I could talk to Dr. Amari and get Curie her body, okay, in order to open that dialogue. Because initially there's no dialogue at all. And we've talked before about how you get to the point where if you do enough quests with the railroad, you end up getting, and I didn't write down all the quest names, but it's Emergent is the one where you're trying to find her a body. But it's the one where you're essentially kind of clearing the way for H2, kind of wrapping up more of the H2 storyline there, H222, and getting them to safety.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got to that point, got all that done, and went back to the railroad, and they said, oh, you worked with Dr. Mari before. And I hadn't, as we've discussed, because I haven't gotten that far in the main quest. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, finally, it's time. So anywho, basically with Deacon, what did I do? I mean, I had already done Butcher's Bill 1 and Randolph 1. I did Randolph 2, Butcher's Bill 2, a couple of DIA caches, just all the good stuff running on around the Commonwealth. Finally found some locations that I hadn't before. It takes you so much down by the Atom Cats and down south. There's so much in that area, including
Memory Interrupted is the name of the quest.
Memory Interrupted. Thank you. That's a good one.
What are the Mila ones called? They're in there too, right? Did you do Mila's as well? There's lots of shit
Oh,
to do.
Mila's, yeah. So there's the Hub 360. I think, is that the Mila quest, the Weather Vane Hub 360? From
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I think
Weather
usually
Vane is the overall name, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of locations that they send you to, or
So
that Tinker Tom sends you to.
Yeah.
that was kind of my first 2 days. That was off and on a bit on Tuesday and a bit on Wednesday. I was doing all this railroad stuff, which was great. You got that all in. But like I said, when I was down south, I also figured I'd clean up Quincy because I'd gone down there to Warwick and the Atom Cats. I think I mentioned last week. Well, Quincy is danger zone. The kid in the fridge and well, actually that's not dangerous, but like he's on the edge. But I'd said, okay, we're going to go into Quincy because I cleaned up stuff for Warwick. Of course, they wanted me to, go take care of some goals like they do. So I'm like, well, while I'm here, what a slaughterfest Quincy is. Now, I was telling Ray and Katherine earlier that it's amazing how much tougher your character does get. Even in survival, you can feel a real difference with regular enemies after a while, between the better armor, better perks, everything. Just being able to have a high AP build like I do and take characters out. But some of those gunners, the gunners that took over Quincy, they are just tough. And, part of the storyline there is you've got the couple of the bosses in power armor. And essentially what they did, they stole suits that Sturgis, when he used to live down there, was working on. If you read the terminal in Sturgis's old workshop there in the old church, he talks about power armor. And then the last entries, of course, from these guys coming down, they're like, man, this grease monkey had a pretty good setup. We're going to get this power armor running. And of course, that's why they're so tough, because they're wearing Sturgis's armor that he had gotten. But yeah, so Quincy, if you go there, I would say, even if you're feeling like you're pretty buff, it's a serious fight. A lot of gunners. The number of gunner sergeants there. Now, those gunners, do you guys think that they level up as we level too, like anything else?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because it really felt like they were higher level than last time I had fought them. But I'm usually down there around level 25, 30, and because we're survival and I've been shy, first time I even got in the area, I was level in the 40s, and at this point I was 60, 65 at that point. I actually hit 80. I hit 80 at the end of Automatron. I am like,
nice.
I know, supercharging. I did a lot of play this week. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention Quincy was a slaughterfest, but it was mostly them dying. The only problem is, of course, when we die, we have to restart. And so it takes a little while, but that was fun. So anyway, we went back and I grabbed Kiri. I'm like, Deacon, it's been fun. Sayonara, my guy. I went back up to Oberlin Station, got Kiri, trekked all the way over to Good Neighbor, went in to talk to Dr. Amari after, having finished those quests. I also want to say the quest with Glory that you did, the Memory Interrupted. That was a fun quest. It was fun to play it with Glory. And I think that they set that up specifically because they know they want to create a little more connection with you with her character, which makes sense. But yeah, I get there and Dr. Amari, she's just like, hey, good job. Oh, I'm really busy. Thanks for helping with H2.
Come back
later. If you want to check this holotape, come back later. Like could not get the dialogue to get Kiri a body.
That's what Captain Lancer Kells gave me for 6 goddamn episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean,
good job, Initiate. Come back later. Good
but
job,
he's
Knight.
BOS.
Come back later.
You don't expect as much from them, Andrew. I expected more from Dr. Amari. She's my team. But
you could just tell there's something in her script that's like, fuck, I haven't done enough yet.
There is something that I haven't touched that must trigger it. And it's not main quest, because as Ray was pointing out earlier.
Yeah, I've gotten nowhere. The closest I've been to, completing the main quest is when Codsworth sends you to Concord. And so I discovered the town of Concord. And I killed the raiders outside in the street. And
Concord exists. The museum exists. That's all you've done. And you got your Curie with a body. She's mayor now and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know why mine isn't working, but I recorded a little video I sent the guys last night. in our chat. And I'm like, I'm stuck here. This is all she's giving me. And it's bizarre. So who knows? I'll figure it out. Or maybe I'll just, knuckle down and actually take out Kellogg. That's probably the thing to do. And I'm going to anyway. Like, this is a full completion run, but I only had so much time this week and I spent too much of it already on doing railroad stuff and I had to get to Automatron.
Yeah.
So that leads me to yesterday. Can I do Automatron all in one night? Great idea. Okay, sure I can, even on survival trekking back and forth. Start around like 11 p.m. probably, and I can get done by like 5 a.m. or something. I'll do it. I'll push through. So of course, when I got there, I said, you know what? Let's go to the castle. Oh, okay. So I went and I got met Ronnie and did the old guns castle quest and unlocked my artillery and tested out my artillery. And then while I was there, I'm like, I should start building. So, but now it's well lit. Okay, the castle, I had it like half lit, but now I've got like this whole area. So the other side is lit. It's got a nice little garden, a shrubbery with a couple of tiered rows going back and forth. Anyway, yeah, it's lovely.
So what's in your garden that's got it so lit?
A whole lot of greenery, Ray. A whole lot of greenery for sure. Yeah, I had to assign 2 settlers to it to make enough food. But no, honestly, I'm happy with the castle. I got a couple of artillery set up. The defense there is sick. It's at like 160 defense right now because I've got 2 artillery, a couple of like 3 different guard stations, a bunch of missile turrets, and yeah, it's just come at me, bro. Okay, come at me. But anyway,
but how well did you progress at that point on your automaton quests?
None of this helped me. Now, the reason I went to the castle is because I had a supply line there, and it's the nearest place to actually go to our first location for the second quest, the General Atomics Factory. But if only I didn't get distracted on the way. Long story short, that was my Fallout 4. I did do all the Automatron quests. I did finish, but it was closer to, by the time I ran through that final mission, I'm like, I can just tell the guys I made it to the lair and we're done. I'm like, no, I need to know. So it was like, I was up late this morning, but I got it done. So that's Fallout 4. 76. The summer camp thing is active. The Squirrel Scout backpack is cute. The challenges turned out, we talked about it a little bit last week that they were happening. Turned out they're really pretty easy. Just a simple checklist. We've all got the same thing. We've got like 2 weeks to do them. So if you haven't, just make sure you go in and take a look at the scoreboard and do those challenges. I printed out a little list, actually. Let me see if I can pull that up for us.
That's great, because I wanted to check in and see what they... Because Alex wrote me, hey, come on over for this event. I've got, for the challenge. And I went and did the event, and there was a daily that said complete an event. So I was like, okay, I got my event for the day. I didn't realize he was talking about some other special challenge that I was like, oh.
Yes, he's talking about his squirrel stuff. So yeah, you got to basically equip the squirrel backpack in order to do these things so it knows you're doing them for Squirrel Scouts and not just because. Got to do things like cook steak, craft a disease cure, take a camera picture of the Blue Devil. This is one of the ones that had people the most stymied, like running around the wasteland being either waiting for the event to pop, the safe and sound event to pop, or just meeting him out in the wild, which if you got lucky. But then it was discovered that right now there's a bit of a feature in the game where if you take a picture with a camera with a bunch of enemies around, like a whole bunch of ghouls, maybe a few other mix of creatures, sometimes it counts.
What? So that's really strange. What does that mean? That the Blue Devil guy is made out of component fragments that are part of the other things that make him
He's
up?
like a homunculus, like he's like a centaur or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre, huh? But yeah. DNA. So anyway, take a picture of Blue Devil, or if you get lucky and take a picture of a bunch of creatures, even if they're dead, it could count. Add a mod to a backpack, collect Myler Queen meat, healing salve. Basically, just simple things. Simple things that would be daily challenges, or in a lot of cases more weeklies, but they are summer camp related. So anyway, got on, did some of that. That was a good time. And what else in 76? We did a flash mob over the weekend. That was fun. The only thing I did was side games. So I threatened Ray with a good time last week when I was saying, yeah, all this talk about Cyberpunk, make you want to play. I'll let you know if I try it out. Well, I didn't, but I did play a couple of other games for fun. There's game I downloaded a while ago called Sayonara Wild Hearts. It's a rhythm dancing game. That was, I will say, I actually don't recommend it. I thought that I might because I like rhythm games a lot. This is not no, this is, but I know that's not everybody's bag, but it's okay. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And of course, I played some Redfall and some other smaller games. I wanted so bad to create a character and do either Cyberpunk or here's the thing, Baldur's Gate coming out in a couple of days. Talking about it last week got me really excited for it. And so maybe I will do that in August while we wait for Starfield, even though it's dangerous. But the knowing that I had to actually finish Automatron all week kept me from starting the big game. Otherwise, I would have.
Sweet.
But that's pretty much my gameplay.
All right, a couple of things. Early on, you mentioned, and I noticed this. Have I been mispronouncing Quincy this whole time?
Yeah, technically. Oh, why did I say Quincy?
Because, I mean, that sounds like how it's naturally said, but I've been saying Quincy all this time.
It is. It is Quincy.
Okay.
It is Quincy, but a lot of people from Massachusetts say Quincy.
Yeah, see, I was
With
going to
more of
say
a
that.
Z.
Is that how the locals pronounce it? Because it took me, 5 years to learn that Concord is not Concord, but Concord.
Yeah, it's Concord, just like Worcester and all that.
Worcester,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, it is
Quincy.
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 Yep.
Okay.
hmm But if you say Quincy, no one's going to correct you.
and you're
They'll
talking,
just point you to where the nearest tourist location is to buy yourself a hat.
yay. Well, I don't know. They might try to kill you too. The you mentioned on the game last week that Will was nice enough to put together. Awesome game. I really enjoyed that.
Really was.
You were doing bad guy levels basically, and trying to put the ranks of the super mutants and the ghouls and raiders. I think were the three you did. Trying to put those in the correct order, and then you mentioned the Quincy gunners down there if they keep leveling up with you. And then I was going to say, do you guys actually know if there's caps to how much they keep this? Do they just keep scale leveling? You're
Oh
done.
no, they're ranges. It's always been ranges based on if your level is between this and this, more of this level spot, and then when your level's this to this, that's when the higher levels keep appearing. But there is a cap where it stops.
Okay, I was gonna say because my character is nearing level 100. I know I'm getting the top names of the enemies, but do the bad guys still keep getting harder? You're saying no, that when they'll hit a certain threshold and stop getting harder.
Yeah, they will eventually cap.
Each one of the tiers has its own level range.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I was just curious if the top level guy kept going with you if I get to level 150, are those guys going to keep doing more damage and taking more damage? So, no, you're saying they hit a level.
Your toughest super mutant warlord is going to stay a super mutant warlord. I don't think he's going to keep leveling up forever.
Yeah, I didn't mean his name, the rank specifically, but
I mean his power. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. So I'm looking up a warlord stats right here. Okay, warlord stats. Most powerful variant, extremely high hit point total, but they have fixed stats. So they appear when you're at a certain level. I think if you're over level 69 or 70, but they'll always have the same basic stats.
Yep. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and stop in and get to know Katherine a little bit. Hi, Katherine. How are you this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for hopping on the show.
Of course.
We'll get into what your character is here in just a second, but how'd you get into Bethesda games, and do you have a normal play style when you play them?
So I really have only ever played Bethesda games. A while ago, a friend had been playing Skyrim when I was over, and I had no idea what they were playing or anything like that, but it looked really cool. I think they were in a Dwemer ruin of some sort. I was like, wow, this game's really cool. So a week later, I found myself at a GameStop, and I picked up a refurbished Xbox 360.
Nice.
And then I got Skyrim. I think it was special edition at that point. I don't remember, but I played that exclusively for at least a year, just by itself. I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but that first playthrough, I was a sneak archer.
Oh, come on.
There's
I
no
know,
shame in
I
that.
know. But a couple
No
years
shame.
later,
You figured the game out early. That's all.
yeah, I guess so. I
Taking
guess
the easy way out.
so. But then a couple years later, I was in college and that's all I ever played was Skyrim. And I even dealt with those long load screens on the 360. I'm sure they were just as bad on the PS3,
Oh,
but I was shown Fallout 4 in college. Same kind of thing. I was like, what is that? And I think the scene I saw was the Concord battle and the power armor ripping the minigun off. I was like, wow, that's really cool, but I
Mhm.
can't aim for shit. So I don't know if I can do this. Like the Skyrim bow, there's not really any sort of you don't have to work for it, in other words. This, I was like, I've never played a gun game before. I don't know if I can do this. But I downloaded it, and then within a month, I was already trying to upgrade my console. I didn't play with any mods the first time through, and I didn't have the DLCs either. So I just played like base vanilla game, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I fell into the hands of the rifle gods, and I found Overseer's Guardian, and that was the weapon I used the entire first playthrough.
Oh,
I didn't touch
nice.
It's a good
anything
one.
else. Yeah, I loved that commando build. And then after I upgraded my console, I spent about a year on and off playing through Fallout 4, and I had no DLCs, like I said. And then I finally decided I was going to buy Xbox Live because I didn't need it, at that point until I picked up the DLCs when they were on sale and then kind of started a playthrough of those. And then after I heard about 76, I heard the only thing I had heard was that it was multiplayer. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. I mean, were you intimidated by that? I mean, you're coming up, you're kind of going through what you did here. You started with Skyrim and the way you got into Fallout, but you didn't previously think of yourself as a gamer, right? Like this was all new to you.
Yes, it was completely new, but I just completely fell for that open world and the moral ambiguity of the Bethesda games and stuff like that.
You're really
So
preaching to the choir here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look at these people present, a few others, like, obviously, like, I, I'm a gamer, like, forever. But yeah, a lot of people have, and a lot of our listeners have gotten into it because of Oblivion or Skyrim or Fallout 3. Like, that is very much a starting point for a lot of people. So that's awesome. Bethesda really does have a unique kind of game. Before you get into 76, because I know you've got like bullet points and it's awesome. This is great to hear. Now that you've been playing other games, have you tried others anymore, like on 360?
on
Or,
three well,
F1 after a while? Yeah.
360, I think I had when I bought the 360, I also bought a couple other like cheap games with it. They were used. I think so Skyrim was one of them. I think I had Doom. I think I had Tomb Raider or maybe one of the Witcher games.
So some of the
One of those.
classics. Mhm.
But I never touched them. Like I don't even think I ever opened them up. It was just Skyrim all the way. And it was great, but
Love to hear it.
yeah, I got into Fallout 76. I remember sitting at a restaurant and I like what was it, 2018? I saw the
Mhm.
trailer and I was like, that looks pretty cool, but all I knew was that it was multiplayer and I wasn't sure I was gonna it felt very intimidating to me. So I avoided it for a while. And then I finally got on YouTube and I started seeing like all of the different camps and things like that because I loved building settlements in Fallout 4. And I was like, this really looks similar. So I finally got Xbox Live. And then right around the time I found the podcast, which I was listening more for Fallout 4, you guys started more talking about 76. And I was starting to hear those iguana bits. And I think it was right around the Dread Island scoreboard that I
Mhm.
joined and started like really diving deep into 76. And I absolutely it took off. I loved it. I loved all the content. I remember I played off and on then, but then I really got into it when the pit came out. And I think you guys were in the middle of a New Vegas season, but I was there for the iguana bits. I was like, this is so cool.
I love to hear that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So New Vegas was about a year and a half ago, right? It was spring and summer of last year. And then Dread Island, yeah, that was like this right, like June or July, so about a year ago. So you've been playing 76 for a little over a year?
Just about a year, yeah. It was like
Cool.
right hand in hand with the podcast when I found it.
That is awesome. Well, I'm glad they're helpful or at least get you excited. That's always kind of the plan. Kind of reliant on Bethesda giving us fun stuff to talk about, but we always have the games. I mean, that's the great thing with the roundtable, the fact that we always get to go back and keep exploring them and learning new things or remembering old things that we forgot because we played them too much.
You said your Skyrim was Sneaky Archer. Your Fallout
Yes.
was the Brotherhood gun, the Righteous Authority.
Overseer's Guardian.
Overseer's
I think.
Guardian.
Where is
Okay.
that? That's one of the vaults.
That's
Vault
in the
81.
vault with the kitty
Okay.
cat.
It's a good choice.
Okay. So was that a power armor type thing? You into power armor? Are you into regular clothing and armor? What's your modus operandi there?
I believe my first playthrough of 4, I was power armor all the time. But now that I'm going back into Fallout, especially with this roundtable, I'm finding that I absolutely despise power armor. And it's so annoying that you have to get out of it all the time for things.
To do stuff, yeah.
But I've also, in 76, I don't really use it at all unless I'm in a nuke zone. So
Right. You
It's that
don't need
thing.
to. Mhm.
yeah, it's that thing in 76 where now you put on your power armor and then suddenly you're over encumbered.
Yeah.
That wasn't
right.
happening in 4, and I like the power armor system in 4 a little bit better, I think.
I agree. Power armor was an upgrade there. Whereas in 76, once you actually level up your armor, you level up your perks, you're going to outlevel your power armor. You get a default strength of 12 when you put in power armor, but your perk cards might be up to 15. You're a little bit bloodied. You get some boost from all your armor. Now they're negated by the power armor. Like it's a big difference. Someone in chat was talking about that the other day about how really only Excavator do you see a carry weight increase because it's got the built-in carry weight increase buff. But really, on basic stats, even Excavator, you're going to drop like your overall strength by losing that bloodied and stuff like that. Now that we have legendary power armor, there's more potential to get a set that actually is an increase. But it's not the same. I agree that going back to 4, power armor feels cool again. Not that I'm a power armor player like you. I don't love it. You hear that from us a lot. We don't love it, but but it's cool at least.
Yes,
Power
this
armor
time I
feels
think
cool
with this
again.
particular playthrough, the only time I've really even touched power armor was when I found the Vim set. I
Yep.
wore it through the Vim Pop Factory, and then as soon as I got back to Longfellow's cabin, that's where it's sitting. And I don't even think I brought it back from the Commonwealth. Well, from Far Harbor.
Yeah, mine is still sitting in fire. I have not made that. I've heard you guys on the podcast last week saying, we got to take that trip over to Far Harbor and collect all the stuff and bring it back. Like, are we? I know that we're technically done with Far Harbor, but are you guys like done with Far Harbor? You know what I mean? Like,
It's a long walk, Andrew. Okay, it's a long walk without fast travel. I might go back for various things. I might. I still haven't done everything over there, but
it is a long walk. That's why we swim.
But yeah, otherwise, what happens in Far Harbor stays in Far Harbor, including the power armor.
So, are we going to get sent back there? Like, Dalton Farm is under attack by raiders. I'm like, good luck, fellas.
They're on their own.
Yeah, I've gotten a few of those.
Oh God, the utter shame! My Dalton farm has no food. Settlers 2, food 0. I never built crops for them.
Oh,
How bad is that?
well.
They were off fighting the darn giant hermit crab, and they never came back, so I never built them anything.
I
Well,
scrapped
yeah.
everything there and then just left it.
Good.
I
think
never
gave them
even touched
anything.
the workshop. And they still cried for help.
Help.
Like, I don't acknowledge you.
Beautiful.
No, I didn't invite
I got
them.
a message that Longfellow's cabin was under attack. And then I got a message that it successfully defended itself.
Oh, nice.
It was probably just Longfellow getting cranky about something and pounding the wall.
All right. It's so 76. You said you don't use a lot of power armor. Are you still what kind of weaponry do you use in 76?
76, I only have one character. And from the beginning, it was also a commando build. So I switched between a handmade rifle and a fixer.
And you got all legendary max. Do you have a favorite legendary build and like armor, and everyone's like aiming for these sets of armor with all the same effect? And
So I don't really like bloodied builds. I don't see the problem
Nice.
with them. It's just not my thing. So I'm a full health build. I have obviously I run through a lot of ammo, but now that they've made contextual ammo kind of more widespread, I'm not having the
Mhm.
problems I was
Yeah,
a
that
couple
was
months
nice.
ago. Where I was just like running through ammo, and my handmade rifle is an what's it called? Prime. So I'm having to find the flex.
Oh,
Oh my
Yep.
And
god.
I don't take a lot of queens downs, and I'm not gonna go do like a flux grind of any sort. So I was like,
Wow.
you know what, that's my side weapon. And it was just 45 that I needed all the time. So I was just lucky hole mine every single day, excavator power armor every single day.
that lead life. That's one of the good things about them getting rid of the food need is people needed food the same way they need lead. And like there were so many things you need to do you can never actually play sometimes. I mean, I know it's all part of play. So are you automatic handmade?
Yes.
Stealth commando? Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Cool.
And it's
Yep.
less, it's definitely in 76, it's a lot less, like, less emphasis on the stealth. I just kind of go in there guns a-blazing at this point. Whereas in Fallout 4, I was just very, like, stealthy and then pew pew. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It is my favorite thing playing with people coming from the other games because we're all stealthier, on our own. Then you're with people and it's just everybody's got their Leroy Jenkins moment. Like they just kind of go running in, and it's funny. Like new players, like Marigold. First time we played together, she was like level I don't know 6 or 7, and we're all sneaking. I'm being a good Jess. I'm letting her sneak. But after 30, 40 minutes playing together, I'm like, okay, watch this, and I just go running in. We kill them all. It's fine. I'm like, see, you can do it. And now she's the first one into battle, but
With a bow, nonetheless.
yeah.
I think it's easier in 76 to not be stealthy anyway, because just in my opinion, I feel like the enemies feel squishier in 76 than they ever did in 4 for me.
You mean easier to kill, or you mean squishier as in spongier?
Squishier as in easier to kill.
Yep. Okay.
Spongier as in okay, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, spongier usually lives longer, squishier dies quicker, and you're saying they tend
Yes.
to die quicker. And yeah,
Yes.
aside from bosses, I feel that's totally the same too. It's 1 or 2 shots on most things if you got a good setup, or quickly if you're commando. It's more shots, but the same amount of time.
Yep.
While we're comparing the two, who's got the better build menu? You said you like building in 4 a lot. The controversial issue, who's got the better build menu? 76 with all the stuff on the top, 4 with all around the bottom.
So I have problems with both of them, but if I had to pick like the style of how it appears on the screen for me, I would say I like the way that 76 has it on the side there, but we all know that 76 has issues with organization, so that's my problem there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering with the rename that they're trying out of the PTS, like if the rename will also fix organization. Still waiting for them to roll all that out to really see how standardized it gets.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
What might be nice is if we could, I don't know, like how in the items menu of your Pip-Boy you can press in the right stick. Ray, that's probably button V for you or something. If you press in the right stick, you can reorganize all the things in the list based on weight or value or stack weight. It might be nice if the items were somehow organizable by us. I'd like if we could click in the right stick and they'd all be in alphabetical order. Or well, actually, I don't know. If you go changing the order around, people are just going to be even more confused because there's 300 items in the floor decoration list. I don't know what the answer to that is.
I think we just need a search function at this point.
But
It's a lot. Yep.
the problem with search, I was thinking that too. But the problem with search is, I don't know what these fucking things are called. I'd be like the matte thing with the weird red face or something.
Spiky plant. Yeah.
Like what the hell are these things called? Yeah. Alrighty. So, do you prefer card or perk chart for your perk building?
To be honest with you, when I was playing 76 as heavily as I was when I was going through content, I really liked the system of being able to swap out cards. And of course, I joined after they did loadouts. So I never,
Right.
like, listening back at the podcast, you guys struggled so bad with not having loadouts. I couldn't imagine doing that. That's just like would kill it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now that I'm back in 4, I really appreciate the ability of gaining a perk and putting a point into something and having it the rest of the game.
Determining your character, having a solid character. I agree that I think that that is a really, I don't know, it makes our characters more special. I like with roundtable stuff, like telling a character's story. Your character does a certain thing. If our characters are jacks of all trades and all they got to do is, go to the magic gene swapping machine and splice their DNA real quick and do a little, chromosomal shuffle, and then they're able to suddenly do something completely different. That is weird, right? Like I like it as a player. I'm like, okay, now I'm putting on this hat, but it's weird as far from a storytelling aspect.
Does that have something to do with it being an ongoing, continuing game versus sort of like Fallout 4 sort of has like an end to it? You know
I
what I
think it
mean?
makes sense in that manner, as in, like, in 76, if it's a continuing game, they don't really want you to be a jack of all trades. They want you to specialize in something. Whereas in Fallout 4, it makes more sense that when you're role playing, you can, I want to start with rifles, but then maybe on my character is going to learn how to use melee.
And that was an
Mhm.
organic evolution and you didn't lose your rifle skill just because you learned a melee weapon. So now you've got options. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be
Okay,
fair,
right.
before loadouts, 76, even with cards, was a little bit more like that because while you could earn and swap, you still had to earn them. So, you got to, your grind to level 50 when it was a lot slower then. And then you had to get, all the other cards you wanted. It was at least level 100 probably before you got all the cards you really wanted for a build. And then you can swap, but not everything. You start burning cards, and it's still, even then it was a bit more fixed. Whereas loadouts, like you're saying, makes it much simpler to go from I'm on my building, I'm on my crafting, I'm on my gathering ore. Whatever different build you have.
Yeah, a lot of that was being able to change specials on the fly.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm also the type of person that I see the point in a game like that. Well, me particular, because I love to just hoard things. If I was a jack of all trades in 76, I would have one of every type of weapon on my inventory at all times. That's just how I am.
In your
Whereas
inventory.
you just can't do that in that game.
No, they fine tune you definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try. You can try, but that stash box, even at 1200, fills up way too fast.
Remember when we had just had 4? Oh,
Yeah. Well, we were laughing about
miss
200 the
those
other day
days.
because it was 200 in beta and like the first week or two of launch. And then they went to 400 pretty quickly.
Okay, I don't even remember the 200 days.
Yeah, people don't. They blacked it out. But I'm in beta, right? Does that even count?
Perfect. All right, so that's a little bit about your history and preferences. Have you actually played any video games this week, Catherine? What have you been getting into recently?
Oh, okay. So I've kind of run out of content in 76, and I'm not saying that I'm on forever score retirement, but it feels like yesterday, it feels like the scoreboard started for me. And the whole, like, first 2 weeks, I think I did every single daily. I did the weeklies. I used a score booster. I
Yep.
think I'm ranked, what, 34, 35?
hmm
And the only time I've gotten on 76 for the last, what has it been, 4 weeks now of this season?
Longer. Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh, I'd have to look up the actual start date. But no, I think we're at like week 6 now, right? At least.
Yeah. The only time I have gotten on 76 was to look at the Atomic Shop on Tuesdays. So, oops. But most of my gameplay has also not been Fallout 4. At work right now, my current podcast, because I finally, after a year, I've caught up on the Fallout feed. So I'm up to
Yay.
date on those. I don't have any more pods to listen to that way. I started listening to a Skyrim addict, And that led me to 10 AD, which I'm really
No.
enjoying. That is just such a great story that's going on. And Colin is the DM, right? He does a really great job of
Yeah,
doing that.
and poor guy was also having to nurse Andrew and I along. Pat was the only one that
Yeah.
knew how to play D&D when we started that.
They were teaching us as we were playing. I was like, what do I do now, guys? Like, I don't know. Did Colin edit that shit out? He probably just left it in the show.
I've been listening to that so much that I finally bought Skyrim Anniversary Edition. I had Special Edition on my
awesome.
Xbox One, but I finally decided to upgrade. I think it was, what, $20? And it's definitely worth it. I haven't found a lot of the content, and I haven't looked up a lot of the content either, so I'm kind of organically finding it as I go along.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And I just started that this week, so I've mostly just been like, instead, this playthrough, I'm trying not to do Sneak Archer.
Yeah.
I did pick up a bow, and I am.
That
Put it
new
down.
bow of shadows,
Put
if
it
you did
down.
that quest,
Throw it
it's
away.
so good.
Throw it away.
I just
Burn
found it was like a seducer bow or a dark bow. I just found that. That's nice, but I'm trying to do
Yeah.
like a one-handed mage or like a mage. What is that called? Battle
Spell
mage.
sword.
Spell sword. Thank you. And I picked up, what is it? Dawn Fang or Dust Fang. So I've been just kind of running through with that, and then instead of my last playthrough, I was more so like questing and finding locations via people telling me to go to them. Whereas this one, I'm trying to do less fast traveling and more of, okay, so I need to get from Solitude to Markarth, but any
Good
location
luck.
I run into, I want to go into, and I want to clear it right then and there. Even if it means later I get a quest to clear it a second time, because that's how Skyrim works. But
Yes, definitely.
We'll see you next month.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm having a lot more fun with it because it is more organic, and I've got some mods going. I'm still learning the modding in Skyrim. I've gotten a little bit more used to it with this roundtable through Fallout
Right.
4. But Skyrim, like, the graphics were a little bit, they definitely needed an update for me. So I'm trying to find the balance of performance and graphics that I like.
Are you still on an Xbox One, a One X, or a Series?
I'm on a 1.
Yep.
So it's not wonderful, but it's okay.
Right. No, it's what you got in it. Better than the 360 was. You
Yes.
get all the extra engine upgrades and stuff, and SE and Anniversary are definitely better. That's cool. Can I just say that you're playing 76 the healthy way? Which is not playing. Okay, don't say, oh, she's not playing. That's the healthy way. No, but the healthy way is to take breaks, to be like, get in it. You love it. You play all the content, and I mean, unless you're out there bitching on forums that 76 has no content, you're doing the healthy way. You're taking a break and doing other things.
I think there's a lot of guilt, though. I do feel quite a bit of guilt, and also I pay for Fallout First like monthly. I don't buy it yearly or anything like that. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a guilt of like, oh, look at all these atoms I have, and look at all the things that I see in the atom shop that I want, but I'm not building with. But it's fine.
Yeah, but then they'll build up and you'll have them. But no, I do get that too. I mean, there is the FOMO. It's a little bit of guilt, a little bit of FOMO with things in the atom shop, with the scoreboard, whether or not you're getting score. But
Yeah.
you'll probably fall in one of a couple of patterns. There are people who come back every season for like a month and try the new events, try the stuff in the season, and then stop. There are people, like, really the only people who keep playing constantly or consistently are either ridiculous like me and a few friends, or they're really into camp building, and so that's what they're doing, and that's a never-ending thing because you can just keep coming back and doing that. But they're really into role playing, and so they're doing events and creating stuff, or it's just their number one social space. And they get on to hang out with friends, and then they're doing the events and chatting with friends. And that's the only place they see their friends, or like, one of their big social places. And that's what they do. But those are the only people who play consistently. I feel like everybody else, Andrew, I mean, you kind of fall into the seasonal one, right?
What's that? What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I only play. Just do the dailies while that's happening until I hit level 100, and then sayonara for a couple of weeks at least.
Yeah. I think that's the healthier way. And even myself, I took a big break when Mass Effect came out, or bigger, and this spring, I go in for a couple of months and get really deep. And then I'll take a couple months off now and just play for stream. And now that I'm not streaming, I think I might be on a much longer 76 break than usual as soon as the scoreboard's done.
Well, mine's also dependent upon if we have a Roundtable project going as well. So another something I can play. Because if we don't have a Roundtable going and I just sit down to play video games, like 76 is still probably the first one that I would pull up, I got into the cowboy game for a little while, but
yeah, it's the most recent. It's modern. It's fun.
But we're going to have Starfield here pretty soon. So when does that come out? In September?
Yep, September 1st for early access. 6 for everybody else.
So the new season's going to start the same day, the same drop as Starfield Day?
Maybe a week before. I mean, I don't know. There's part of me thinking they're going to extend the season and give us the usual 12 weeks, in which case it'll be later in September, mid-September.
Yeah,
but maybe they'll do it a week or two before.
When you're theorizing the end date, I was like, that sounds really quick. I'm not going to get much of a scorecation this time. Man.
Yeah. And by the way, Catherine, it was kind of split the difference. We're at 5.5 weeks now. I just counted it up, 5.5 weeks into this season. So, if they go to the end of August, it'll be a 10-week season, which will be equal to the shortest we've had.
And are you announcing your official score-tirement, at least for now?
I think for this scoreboard, I'm score-tired. But I guess that's not score-tirement. That's just a long scorecation. Yeah.
Yeah, or...
But I think it has... A lot of it has to do with the Roundtable. It's so nice to be able to come home from work in the evenings, and I don't think about 76. I just think about, like, what do I need to do next on Fallout 4? Or let me just play Skyrim for a little bit. Like, that's so refreshing after, I don't know how you guys have done it for this many scoreboards, but this is like my 3rd or 4th that I've completed. And then this one started and I needed a break.
Totally agree. It's compulsive behavior.
Yes.
You mentioned FOMO. And it's really just, I don't want a cool item to go without being claimed by me, even though I don't build very much. I'm not a huge decorator, so I don't even know why I need them, but I need them for some reason. That's why I keep doing the scoreboards over and over.
I think you're a completionist. Like, you're not an achievement completionist like me, but otherwise, I mean, or maybe it's more your hoarder tendencies, I guess. Is there such a thing as a hoarder completionist?
I guess. Because I'm not a real completionist, because, like, you guys were talking about the achievements you have yet to do on Xbox. You're down to a few. I probably have a ton because I loaded mods on forever ago and always play with at least a couple of mods. So.
Oh, Silior has a very out there statement in a Discord now. He says, honestly, makes me wonder if they'll give seasons a break during that time. They know people will be playing Starfield nonstop during that time. And it's true, but let's be honest, they don't want to lose their 76 audience. No. And there are people who just much prefer the multiplayer aspect of 76. They're, as much as a lot of us Bethesda faithful or hardcore will be jumping over to Starfield for sure, there are people who maybe actually just like MMOs and online games. And there are people who like space games. That's stupid.
We're all, like, I'm always a little embarrassed about announcing that Fallout 4 was my first Fallout game. For some reason on the show, like, I feel like, I got to be Fallout New Vegas in 3 or earlier, or else you ain't got no Fallout cred. Really, you know what I mean?
You've got no cred, Andrew. I mean, unfortunately, that was 8 years ago, so I think you got cred.
You're making.
And you've been
doing
a podcast for 6 of them, 7 of them.
And but there's lots of people who listen who 76 was their first Fallout game, so that's a good way to go about it, I guess. Always goes to show it doesn't matter which game brought you in as long as you're willing to be open enough to experience the other ones. And, we talked Ray into playing Fallout 1, so that was kind of fun.
Well, and heck, you talked me into playing Skyrim.
Oh, Lord. Twisted your arm right off your shoulder. I actually did nag you a lot. I'm bad at that.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
You seem to be having a good time. You're on a podcast about it now.
I would think there probably aren't as many people who go Fallout to Skyrim as there are Skyrim to Fallout, or Elder Scrolls. And maybe it's just because Elder Scrolls was first, but it does seem to be people try the Scrolls first usually.
That was going to be my questions. Like, Do you think 50% of Fallout players play Skyrim, and do you think 50% of Skyrim players play Fallout, or is it higher or lower in that range? What do you think? Are there purists out there who don't like the other title?
I think people have a preference. But I think the majority, I would think more than 50% play both, even though I would think most people have a strong preference. They're Fallout folk or they're Elder Scrolls folk.
I think that Fallout is a little bit more of a niche rather than Skyrim. I mean, Skyrim's fantasy, so there is a lot more that when I
Yeah.
think of fantasy, there's more that could draw someone into Skyrim than there is Fallout. You have to really want to experience that post-apocalyptic kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got some universal appeal, but it's much more of a specific thing than fantasy. Like even though it's unique and original fantasy, it's still fantasy. We all know what that is. Lord of the Rings, but someplace else.
Wizards and dragons, right? Oh my.
Finally with the dragons. My God, it took them long enough.
More prevalent in our pop society than post-apocalyptic wastelands for some reason. Right. So we've got. You do anything else there, Catherine?
So one night this week I played Fallout 4, and that was essentially me taking the boat back over from Far Harbor and dropping Nick off at a settlement. I already forget which settlement I dropped him off at, but I'm probably but I'm probably gonna go get Kate. I've never gotten Kate before. She's my romance. Where do I find her?
So that is at, oh my God, what is it called? The Combat Zone? Yeah, Combat Zone. That's the theater district. The easiest way to find it is to go to Swan's Pond, the Boston Commons, and you know where the station is where you get Nick. We'll just go down that road south. Okay, the theater district is directly south of the Commons, and you'll go basically past the corner, maybe a block and a half, and you'll see an indentation on the right, and some raiders might start giving you a hard time, and that's where you'll turn to be at the Combat Zone. So there should be a quest marker for it too. In miscellaneous, it'll say investigate the Combat Zone. And I'm sure you talk to somebody at this point.
And it gives you a map marker too. Yeah, if you wander around Diamond City long enough, one of the guards will mention the Combat Zone, and so then there'll be a marker on your map.
You probably have it in miscellaneous. Just need to select it.
I probably do. I hardly ever look at the miscellaneous ones. But other than that, I have just been like taking care of my settlements because I didn't leave Far Harbor once to help them at all. So a lot of them are angry with me. And I also forgot that I restarted. If anyone remembers, a couple weeks ago, I had restart. And my first playthrough, I had Sim Settlements running. So I had a city planner and I had all of this, they were taking care of themselves. But I forgot that I didn't set that up with this playthrough, so they've all kind of just been starving with no defenses.
Oh, man.
And
you ain't got time for that. You're doing general stuff. Delegate,
Yeah. So I'm gonna put some band-aids on the bullet holes, and then I'm gonna move on to Automatron.
Beautiful.
I went back
That's my gameplay.
I went back to the mainland. And I was like, why can't I fast travel down to that Somerville place? Why can't I fast travel to the pit? What's the one up in the north? The ghoul farm. Why can't I fast travel to
the slog?
Why can't I fast travel to the slog anymore? It was like evidently these guys will leave you if you leave them to.
Some of your supply lines.
Yeah,
shut down on you.
I can't fast travel to Somerville Place. So one of my, I need to do this weekend is go back and talk to them and see if you can repair the. I've never had them get so bad that they actually.
So double check. So
yeah,
I've had a few instances where I've been in a settlement and I'm not able to fast travel out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the purveyor is there.
Oh. Interesting.
And so, the only way to fast travel when they're actually physically in the settlement is to go over and talk to them and pay the caps to make the trip.
Hurry up and leave. I would travel for free on your back.
After a few minutes, you'll get the little pop-up that says, that you can fast travel to
You can now fast travel to settlements.
And it is a mod, so occasionally you just gotta restart as well and make sure
Okay.
it's applied properly.
I was thinking they got. Is there a point where they'll get so offended that you're not allowed to use their workbench again until you go kill another set of raiders at a whatever?
Yeah, they can, but they have to get wiped out to
Okay.
do it.
I've never had it happen, but they've threatened. Like, like I've gotten the warning that, this settlement is unhappy. If it continues, they may leave, blah, blah, blah. But I've never actually had it happen.
Mister, we sure could use some beds over here. Well, go ahead and make some, dummy. What do you depend on me for? Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to
I just say talk to the mayor.
talk to the mayor? Oh, good one. Speaking of the mayor, Mr. Mayor Ray, what did you do this week?
So No Man's Sky, I'm still trying to rebuild my permadeath character. Making progress there, getting that spun back up.
That's so sad. Was it 48 hours? Something?
52.
52? Yeah. That sucks.
So, but such is the permadeath life. So,
Living that permadeath life.
um, so, Elder Scrolls Online was free in the Epic Store. So I downloaded it. Took forever. There's like 50,000 different sign-in screens you have to get through. And I I played through 2 sections of the tutorial and deleted it.
Attaboy.
I'm like, Ray, I don't know that you're gonna like it. I don't know. I mean, it's more Skyrim like than it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, the thing that really got me was the combat. The combat is just too funky.
It's cooldowns. It's, even though you can set up skills now and do the first person thing, the cooldown system is very different than what we're used to.
Yeah, so I did see one other, human player in the tutorial, but I never made it out of that that tutorial level.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started thinking about, I went through a little time where I really wanted to play something on the Xbox. Just because I've got the stupid thing.
Couchers for life.
We don't get together for any 76, stuff anymore. So
Yeah, you'll only play it when we ask you to. Yep.
so so I had loaded Rage 2 and never got out of the tutorial on Xbox because I couldn't frickin' aim.
I mean, that's a game you got to aim. Yeah, it's all about the shooting.
There's no VATS. So,
Ugh.
so I just bailed on that. And so I was thinking, well, you know what? It was actually kind of fun. And I enjoyed the first Rage game, except for the driving. Driving on PC is kind of finicky.
I don't even like it with a controller usually.
But
it's hard to get right.
Yeah, so I loaded Rage 2 and I've been playing that. It's been a lot of fun. It's definitely a whole lot more fun on keyboard and mouse than it is on controller.
Does that have anything to do with your skill level with a controller in your hand, Ray, versus
no.
The mouse
It's just nature.
Okay. Versus nurture, Ray. You got to nurture that Xbox relationship.
Yeah,
put in a couple hours every day. Have a Rocky montage playing in the background. You can do it.
Xbox is great for watching YouTube or Netflix.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find something to do with this stupid thing.
It'll keep the door from shutting in the wind.
But
nice door style.
So fortunately, with the Xbox, I got the Live Ultimate, and so I mean I get all these games, I just don't play them. So I figured I'd go ahead and drop into that. So that's been fun.
That was
Fallout 4
Rage 2, you said? Okay.
What's that?
I said that was Rage 2. You said you've been
Yeah,
playing?
and it's a pure shooter. It's not you know, I mean there's no role play. There's, just guns and skills.
Mhm.
There's a lot of great games in Game Pass. Not a Game Pass game, but isn't the Expanse? Didn't the Telltale Expanse game just come out finally? As an Expanse fan, that might be something worth checking out. Although I don't know
Yeah.
how you feel about Pure Adventures.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind as long as it's, got some engaging, gameplay to it.
Yeah, I'll probably be checking it out. So I'll let you know.
Yeah. Um, but in Fallout 4, so I left Far Harbor and stopped off at the Nakanos to finish that up. And so Kenji gives you the loot that his father had left. And so I went out to the shack and dug up the crate, and I got a plasma sniper rifle with troubleshooting. And I'm like, that might come in handy. I've got to go shoot a bunch of
I've
robots.
got a bunch of robots that are expecting my call here in just a minute.
And so, fortunately, one of my assigned perks is science. So I've got science, as high as I can for my level. I think I'm level 46 now. And so that definitely came in very, very handy. So that was nice. And I was able to upgrade it because of my science skill. And so then I ran off and did the Automatron.
The Automatron, which we'll be getting into here in just a little bit. And you said you had a difficult time completing that, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to mention? I just got a couple of things. I just mainly been concentrating on doing the dailies and the weeklies, but I'm not spending a lot of extra time in 76. My Fallout 4 playthrough has just been... Oh, man, Longfellow's so upset. Just avoiding him in the game because he still will deliver stuff for me.
He hates you.
But every time he sees me, he draws a firearm, and everyone gets bent out of shape, and it's all everyone, and then he dies, and I have to reload. So anytime I hear anyone at Sunshine Tidings be like, they say one of their canned dialogues about we're entering into combat now. It's like, oh crap, Longfellow's back. We gotta get the shit out of town, or else he just starts opening fire on me all the time. So I will never ever get my romance, which is very sad. There's nothing I can do now. I fed his town to a bunch of fog monsters.
Yeah, you sacrificed everything he knew. Yeah, absolutely.
He's not happy. He's probably just pissed because Mitch died. He's like, who's going to sling me whiskey now? He would have been fine with everyone else getting wiped out except for poor Mitch.
You got to go up to him and say, like, look, I know I killed all your friends and acquaintances, but aren't I enough? Aren't I enough, Longfellow?
I'll bring a whiskey care package and see if that'll soften him up.
That might help.
And then I went and played most of the Automatron stuff, and I was saying that, I'm going to take the robotics expert perk and do all that stuff, and then I forgot, those are intelligence. I've made a vow to not increase my intelligence at all, so I did not end up doing the hacking the robots method, but
if it's any consolation, I have robotic expert.
Did it not
and I
help
never
with hacking?
Once used it the entire time I went.
Why not? What changes the strategy there?
It was better to keep them far away.
Yeah, take them out sooner than later. And also, like, it's great for working on, your robots at the workbench. But at the same time, you can do that with mods that they drop. You're learning new mods as they drop stuff anyway. So even though you need robotics expert and science to do certain mods, if you get them in your inventory, you don't.
Okay, maybe robotics expert was the wrong one. What's the one that you can like tame robots.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah,
robotics
that's
expert,
robotics
okay.
expert and
But do you,
science are the two that are needed for stuff.
You mentioned
but for the taming.
Sorry, Ray, you mentioned proximity. Like you want to keep them as far away across. Like if you just point your gun at them, don't they do? Or do you actually have to be?
No, it's not like intimidation
Oh no,
or what is it, Wasteland Whisperer?
Wasteland Whisperer,
You
right?
have to
Press X to
activate
hack.
them, right?
You
Exactly.
have
Yep.
to get that close. That sucks.
You have to get close enough to be able to get the activation
All right,
screen.
that sucks because I was assuming that I was going to be able to point my gun at it and tell it, "Oh, calm down," and it wouldn't. So like because both of the other ones that are like that, those systems are just point your gun at it and it'll chill. That's
It's
crazy.
like in a nuke silo, when you're running up on the Susans and you gotta hack them to make them quiet.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I
same
didn't
deal.
realize you'd have to be that close. So that wouldn't work for me anyway. So I'm glad I didn't waste it because, as Katherine was talking about in her gameplay last week with her explosive pistol, you just keep downing dog meat all the time. Like if I had to get that that close to those robots and that final, barrage of robots, I would just be crippling myself and dog meat the whole time. Actually, dog meat's not with me. It's Ada. I've got Ada. So I'd just be crippling Ada. And I don't have nearly as many robot repair kits as I do stim packs. That's for damn sure. I need to stockpile those things. And that's pretty much my gameplay. I'm going to hit Scorecation tomorrow with the dailies. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I can concentrate on what are we doing next? Probably going over to Nuka Town, Nuka World.
Yeah, we're heading down to Nukaville. That's where we're going.
Nukaville, Nuka Borough. We'll be there soon. All right, so score 99, and we'll take a Scorecation chime next week. So let's see what we got on the agenda tonight. We've got a little feedback from Cosmo wrapping up his Far Harbor experience. Why don't we go ahead and visit with Cosmo.
We make feedback.
Hi, this is Cosmo, and we're catching up with Zed. Quick summary about before Far Harbor. Even though she's a charisma strength build to start with, we ended up taking agility and then eventually kind of becoming a sneaky archer. Talk about some of the differences though. Since we're not taking crafting perks, she's focused on collecting upgrades instead. That's different. She got Taffington Boathouse as her settlement, and then instead of building a ring of caravans around settlement, she went with a hub and spoke design. It also started using robots for caravanners. We were supposed to get Curie for a romance, but encountered Heather Cassidy because of the mods that were running, and have really enjoyed hearing her new dialogue. I know she's known to talk a lot, but actually it's been dialed way back, I think, in more recent updates. And there's an entire menu, you can turn them way down. They seem actually quite appropriate. Anyway, we did try to get Curie out of jail, but at some point we're supposed to find Ashes the cat, but we saw Ashes go running out the door and anticipated the quest, chased after Ashes, and then came back and collected the quest later. And then Austin doesn't seem to get bit, so we might have been able to fix it either by changing quest stages with a console or something, but in the end we just kind of moved on. In fact, we mostly just did side quests to get levels, not really triggering any of the main quests. Haven't met Piper or Nick Valentine. We did get Ada after farming robots for a while, and then started, like I said, building robot caravans. And then we went to see if we could get to Far Harbor without ever getting the quest from the Valentine Detective Agency. And it turns out you can. You just go up there on your own. Try not to get killed doing it, and made it to Far Harbor around level 22, 25, something like that. I noticed that things kind of accelerated for Zed. I think either she just got braver got better at sleeping or using quick save, maybe just getting bolder. I think the survival experience levels make a big difference. Because once we got to Far Harbor, we started just doing all the quests we could. Pretty soon we were doing the captain's dance, and then running out to see Dima, picking up some of those quests, then running over and, having to get in with the Children of Adam. We're actually assigned Adam, Children of Adam as the faction. Not really wanting to blow the island up. I think one thing that's the same is that we ended up doing more or less the most peaceful option where everybody gets to stay alive. I think some of the more interesting moments, the Blue Nightmare didn't happen because when Heather offered to have a look at the terminal, we said, sure, go ahead. And then the quest just completes. So I didn't really have that much fun on that quest before. It's all right, but it did get stuck and require some research last time. Then there's those Assaultrons that turn invisible and rush at you. That was kind of interesting. This time we realized that we were standing there with these power armor, and there were two doorways, so we basically got out of our power armor and blocked the doorways, and then triggered the Assaultron, and the Assaultron wasn't able to close on us, so then we could just pick it off. So that was different. I just want to mention a little bit about the mod pack. It's been pretty stable. One thing I don't like in general about mods or even the DLC is that they tend to add too many weapons, and you notice that some of them are kind of unbalanced. Or in general, you just get too many variations. So if you're trying to get one weapon upgraded, you're going to, end up picking up goodies for the wrong weapon. And that can be a little frustrating. If I could use the mod pack without any of the extra weapons being added, that might be something worth looking into. I do like the occasional hideout you find, some of the extra quests that show up, and definitely like the companion editions. They just give me more content to explore. We also really enjoy the way the game looks. I don't have a very high-end machine. I'm playing on a laptop, but stills look great, and the photo mode has been a lot of fun. Oh, and talking about photo mode, this time when we ran into the drive-in theater with the double feature, it only plays one at a time, right? This time we didn't run in not knowing what was going on and snuck our way up into the control tower so we could kind of watch the show, and then switched the projections and waited and watched the ghouls shamble over to their side, and that was kind of fun. Well, that's it for this week. Signing off.
I didn't know they did that. I don't know that I've ever snuck up into the projector room and noticed that they play on one screen and then flip around to the other.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that.
That's pretty amazing. Also, I don't know, did you come up with that, Cosmo? Because that's pretty brilliant, just setting your power armor suits by the door so the Assaultron can't get out of the room. That's pretty smart there.
That really is. That's very clever. I mean, now of course you have to be using encumbrance to have the power armor on you in the first place to drop it. But otherwise, good plan.
Just see that poor Assaultron blasting a laser beam in that little closet. Yeah.
And check in the mod configuration menu, because a lot of times the gun mods will add controls as far as being able to control whether or not the weapons get added to the loot pool.
Oh, nice.
So you can cut down on the amount of drops that come from that mod.
Yeah, less too much added by mods. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I know some people struggle with it, but you can also just not pick them up.
Oh, Ray, how dare you? Well, it's diluting his loot pool is, I think, more
Yeah,
the issue, right?
it
Yeah.
does cause something that you wanted to pick up not to drop. But that's something to check.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Cosmo, for your feedback and thoughts on Far Harbor there. Good luck you had Heather around to skip you right past the demon stuff. All right, you guys. What's up?
That makes me think, Catherine. So, Dima's Blue Nightmare, on your feedback last week, you mentioned, you don't love it, you don't hate it, but the less said, the better. So, did you have anything interesting happen in your adventure or just nah?
I wouldn't say anything interesting happened. I took a lot of the advice. I didn't know that you could cheese it the first time I went through it. I had no idea. So I did it the hard way the first time. This time I cheesed it.
Cheese it!
Or
There.
cheated, whatever you want to call it. But I think we decided it's a cheese, not a cheat.
Right, because it's within game mechanics to use the
Yeah.
lasers. Yes.
Yeah. But I think the problem that I have with it is the problem that most people have with it is just that it's not a bad mini game, but why is it there? Why in the middle of
It's-
that quest? It's just out of place.
It is really incongruous, isn't it? Like, I came down the side of I still like it. It's a neat break, but it is kind of jarring. It is very different.
Yeah, you just don't feel ready for something like that.
It's almost like they
middle of
had
the quest line.
a
Yeah.
game jam or like they were brainstorming. And this guy's like, oh man, I built this cool thing. Can we do anything with it? They're like, dude, that has nothing to do with our game. He's like, yeah, but it's cool. They're like, well, it is cool.
Like someone got
I can
fired.
totally see that.
Someone got fired from the Portal 2 production team and created a Demon's Blue Nightmare for us.
Exactly.
Because I mean, imagine the guts that it took to pitch that to Todd.
Well, yeah. I mean,
serious, boss, serious. It's gonna be cool. There's
Ray,
it's all these pretty colors and these little bugs are running around.
Ray, get out! You're fired.
The players will love it. Yeah, you end up being tossed out the window. It's you posted in our Facebook group, I think a week or two ago too. You're like, Fallout players, do Demon's Blue Nightmare or just destroy Arcadia? That was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get that.
It was really tempting, but I stuck it through. I don't think I'll do it again. I think the next time, if I do a playthrough, I'm skipping it with a mod.
Nice. I don't know. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but I would totally play it if it was just a puzzle phone game. You know what I mean? It's not a bad little thing. It just doesn't belong in this game.
Says
Well,
the
you
man
also
who
streamed Grognak and the Ruby Ruins.
Oh God,
Catherine,
I don't
you
know
were
if
right
you
on my vibe. Exactly what I was thinking.
I don't know if you ever watched that, but that was one of my funnest streams I've ever done. I love that. Grognak is a great game. If you haven't played the little Pit Boy games, do yourself a favor and play them all. They're all really great. Okay.
Yeah, we
what
got
do
Automatron. We got the Automatron game in the DLC
We did
that
get
we're
it.
about to talk about. We got that game, and it's funny. We joked about how with the quest mod that we did, the Vault 28, Forgotten Ghoul, Absent Ghoul, that you got all the games, but you didn't get that one. So that was cool to get it.
Right on. So we need a video. We need a stream of you playing that game. Come on,
Or
Jess.
you could.
We'll do a whole series of just the Pit Boy games.
The mini game roundtable.
Oh, that'd be great. That's what we're doing next. All right, get ready, everybody.
Right after Shelter, right?
Yeah, shelter roundtable, of course. Well, I didn't mention in my gameplay I started a new survival shelter just because we've been doing survival mode, and I just wanted to really play one of those. So,
What's survival shelter again? Like how
just-
hardcore is it?
They need more food, they need more water, they need more power. You know, it's just like everything's a little bit harder, and you can't revive anyone. If they die, they're dead. So you lose the components if they're out searching in the wasteland and they die. They don't like magically send that stuff home. They just, that was a waste of time. So you lose all that stuff. I think it just takes longer to do stuff too. They need more, it takes longer. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Bottle and cap, you don't come as often. Actually, that sounds like a benefit.
that's a
I
good
could kind
thing.
of,
Yeah,
I kind
that's a
of deal
good
with
thing.
that. Yeah,
Don't do that quest, at least right away.
you get so tired of it after a while. It's like again, like it's a novelty the first 10 times, 20 times,
Yeah.
maybe, but then it's just so old.
Well, when when you're at the point where you have like 900,000 caps, you're just like, I don't need more caps. Stay out. Why are you coming over? All right. So Jess mentioned it. Let's go ahead and roll into our quest for the week with Automatron. You stumble upon Mechanical Menace over there by the Watts Consumer Electronics building, sort of underneath an overpass. Did you guys have a fun adventure with Mechanical Menace? I had done this one, months ago.
2 months ago.
Point. Yeah, exactly. I kicked this one off. From afar, I remember I was still being very timid. So I was kind of watching it from afar to see how many of the robots Ada could take out herself. And I came in and cleaned up a few at the end, but I think I was keeping enough of a distance where I was, just letting Ada do as much damage as she could. But yeah, did you guys kick it off forever ago as well? Have you had, Jess, you've had robots running around, right?
Yeah, I think it was forever ago for most of us. You first find it with the radio signal, right? You turn to the caravan distress call and you get that. And for me, I ran
level 15.
I just stumbled across it. Yeah.
And I ran into it because on the railroad quest, where you first meet H222 and you're helping him and old man Stockton and such at the meeting point, it's just right there. And you hear them all pew, 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 pew. And it's hard not to get involved. You know what I mean? It's hard not to get involved.
Not to hear the sound of gunfire and run over the hill towards it, Jess.
Yeah, I had just swam over from Tappington Boathouse. And so, yeah, it was right there. It was as I was headed to the church.
Swim
everywhere, Ray. Keep it up. No.
So yeah, but that's where it starts with the fighting there, and of course that's when you may try as hard as you want to save all of the robot buddies of Ada, but you cannot, and it's sad because a couple of them are alive when you first see them, but no matter what you do, you can't save them. They won't live. You could probably console command them back to life and stuff like that, and I'm sure hijinks would ensue. But they probably just kind of stand around and do nothing or say something.
Could you then send them to a camp? Can you console command that sort of stuff?
You could probably, if you want them as NPCs, just like standing around doing nothing, you probably could. It would probably cause issues, but hard to say. Speaking of console commands, Clint in chat says Ray is going to have fun swimming to Nuka World.
Right.
All up the quantum stream. But yeah, that's essentially it. Mechanical Menace. You end up fighting off the robots and talking to Ada, and she lets you know that she was with, a group of traders and the person who was repairing them all. This robot repair guy, I forget his name.
Jackson? Is it Jackson?
Yes. Good memory. Exactly.
Because there's like a Jackson's holotape or something there too, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And so she needs to figure out what's going on, and she wants revenge at that point. She is like, we need to find out who's doing this and put a stop to it. Partly because she wants, just to stop this from happening, but mostly she just wants revenge and to know why they're being harassed and why her friends were killed.
And also, you've had iBots rolling around blasting the mechanist's message and stuff like that. You run into those guys all over the place too. There's also like not holotapes, but flyers, mechanist flyers or something you pick up off of
No, it is, the mechanist holotape and stuff that you're hearing everywhere, like you said. And obviously, once you do this, you talk to Ada and you start the next quest, which is a new threat. But whether or not you actually go and start it, now that you've rescued Ada and sent her somewhere to hang out while you wait to actually get to that quest, because you've got other stuff to do for the Roundtable, all the robots show up. All the robots and the Rust Devils.
Oh, my God.
Can I just say that as you go on in the storyline, one of the things that comes up is one of the locations we're going to have to go to in the next bit is the Rust Devils. You're like, oh, they're this gang, blah, blah, blah. It's like, woman, I know the Rust Devils, okay? I have put down more Rust Devils than you have seen in your life at this point because they just keep showing up.
And they suck. They're tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we moved down to General Atomics Factory, like Jess mentioned, for a new threat is the next one.
Yeah. A new threat's the next quest, and that's going to send us to Ada wants to investigate General Atomics, the only lead she has, but she saw some mechanist bots around there.
Yeah, and at this point, she doesn't know that we need like the beacon or the MSAT or any of that. She's just telling us to explore, right? Just because she's picked up a signal of robots. And Ray, did you have any adventures over there at the General Atomics Factory? How'd that go for you? Visiting our first
No,
Robo
it
Brain.
went pretty well. I had that troubleshooter rifle at that point,
Oh, nice.
and so that was the first place I got to test it out, and it worked quite well.
What kind of
except
rifle was
that
that?
it wouldn't shoot through the screen
Oh no!
to hit the robots,
Yeah.
in the back room.
Upstairs. What kind of rifle was that again?
It's a plasma rifle.
Okay, I was gonna
with
ask
the a sniper barrel and a scope.
I was going to ask if it was an energy weapon. Do energy weapons do necessarily more damage, even without a troubleshooter's legendary effect? Are energy weapons more effective on robots?
I think the electrical ones are,
but not all
and maybe
energy?
the laser. I can't remember which ones they get bonuses against.
Because I remember if you threw not the plasma grenade, with the electrical grenade that always worked, was more efficient against robots and didn't really do much against people and such.
Yeah, they all have varying levels of resistance. Most of them do have more damage resistance to physical damage than they do energy resistance.
Right.
Like if you check their stats, so the majority of them you will do better with laser or electricity.
Yeah, and plus the plasma is a pretty strong weapon.
Is it single shot, or does it have that flamethrower thing on it?
No, it's a single shot.
Nice.
It's set up like a sniper rifle.
Sniper, you said, right?
Yeah, I've got the top end sniper barrel on it now. So even without any rifleman perks at all, it's doing a lot of damage.
And troubleshooter on top of that adds a percentage or a set number of damage on top.
Percentage.
A percentage, nice. Good rifle to take along with you right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was able to move through there, pick everything off from a distance, except for the stuff that when they were mixing it up with Ada.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got her on a thruster.
Yeah, me too.
And
I always do that.
Yeah,
they seem like they get caught less.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
wow.
And she also was able to follow me better when I was swimming.
And she actually keeps up with you because if you have her original robot legs, then she moves about half your speed. So you're always like, come on, Ada, come on.
Yeah, her default are the Protectron, right? So I did switch those out too, but I switched her up with Assaultron legs.
Oh, will she actually jog next to you then? Because those guys can move a little bit. Yeah.
She can keep up just fine. And she has just like, she gets the zoomies like a pug. You know what I mean? Where she's like, time to sprint. She just starts running.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. Where are we going? I don't know. Yeah, just don't put the tank treads on them, or else they'll get stuck on every little corner, every little doorway. They won't ever make it through. The tank treads.
Huge.
They look cool, but what a hindrance.
Yeah, so I was able to pick off those other robots. I carry a combat rifle with me as well. So,
are you using a Ripper against robots? Are you using the Ripper at all against robots, or you've fully switched over to?
I did use it, and especially at one point that we'll talk about soon.
Okay. We talked about going upstairs. That room, I found if you keep going up the stairwell to the third floor, there's a hole that you can drop into. I never actually figured that out before for that last room. Because Ray, you mentioned you couldn't shoot through the screen. My laser rifle, I have Righteous Authority. I was using it went right through the screen. So I was did the thing where you could just duck behind the wall, pop out, and pew pew pew, duck behind, pop out, pew pew pew. But after it was all done, usually you can just use that terminal to get into the room. But I accidentally found the hole in the ceiling that if you didn't want to, hack that terminal right in front of the door, you can go all the way upstairs.
Yeah, you can go all the way around. There are a couple ways. It's a bit it's a bit windy in the back if you do that. I shot him to the screen too. The only thing I've done variant from you guys is the fact that because I am pistol high AP build, it's taking a number of bullets to get through them, but my P is off the charts now, and I got the perk. It's under perception, right? What is that perk called? Yeah, penetrator that lets you not just have a be able to shoot around obstacles with reduced accuracy, but you get level 2 penetrator, and now you can shoot around obstacles with same chance to hit as usual. So this is fantastic. I am literally shooting through walls, Ray. I am like, if I can see it long enough to target it, they move behind things, I'm still, that chance in VAX is going up, which is, laws of physics doesn't seem right. And occasionally it seems like stuff in the environment will block my bullets, but it doesn't seem to change the chance in VAX. So yeah, that's been really helpful.
I didn't even think about that. I have penetrator too. I bet you it was just going through the screen because I have penetrator, huh?
Yep, that might have been it.
Yep. We'll get penetrator, everyone. Highly endorsed by Jess and I.
Yep.
So we discover our first Robo Brain? No, I discovered my first Robo Brain in that hotel over there on Far Harbor.
True. Yeah, because we played out of order. But this would have been the first Robo Brain that we would have found in the Commonwealth.
So penetrator is perception 9.
Oh, that's an investment.
And my perception is 1.
Oh, that's an investment. All right. So I, for some reason, found that kind of not hard to believe, I don't want to say, but surprising when I heard that was the first Robo Brain in the game. I was like, really? We hadn't seen they were introduced. It's just that I've had Automatron loaded for so long that I forget what was in the the base game. And I was like, really? Robo Brains were never part of the base game, huh?
I think part of it is also how many of them there are in 76. I feel like there's a ton of Robo Brains.
Yeah, they love them.
Everything respawns. And I mean, it's not like they weren't around before. They were in Fallout 3. So, they weren't a new enemy, but they were new to Fallout 4 at that time.
That's interesting. They didn't include them originally.
So you get in there and you find the RoboBrain, and they've got a special transmitter in her head, like an ML unit, an M1 unit. I'm suddenly forgetting. But essentially looking at it, it seems like they're kind of at an impasse. You're at a dead end right now on the quest. And so Ada's like, well, I have an idea. It may be a dumb idea, but you talk to her. She is very kind of not confident about this, but the idea she comes up with is, hey, if we were to install this unit into a robot, me, I might be able to. Now, what I thought was going to happen with it in this quest was that you were going to install it into her, and they were going to be able to track her, and then we're going to get attacked by swarms of robots from the mechanist at the time. I thought it was like kind of like a trap, like a deliberate, we're calling the creatures out, and maybe they'll show their hand. But actually, her plan is to install it and try to decode the data from it and use it to reverse engineer and locate the mechanist's lair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that takes us out of the General Thomas factory. There really wasn't much else there. You could just explore and loot it, and you learn more about all the various robots there. There are a lot there. It was full, but I handled it okay. I mean, did you guys die much? I think I made it through without dying there. Yeah.
You can also do the nanny test, right? Don't they have a testing facility in the back that's you are correct. You gave the baby food or whatever.
Yeah, that side room over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I had forgotten about that.
Test scenarios.
They test you if you can be a good nanny bot or not. That's really fun.
I didn't run through that this time, but I remember it from previous.
Right. So now we got Ada equipped with some sort of beacon encoder. It's not the MSAT, is it? I don't even remember what.
Yes, MSAT. I think.
Is it MSAT?
So it starts. The next quest is head hunting, and let's see what I've got to look up the name of that real quick.
Hey, Katherine, did you get a chance to start the Automatron yet? I assume you've done it in the past.
I've never done it in the past. I think that's the one DLC that I never did.
Nice.
I remember walking by and hearing the pew 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 and then just like running faster away from it, but
Yes, that's the smarter move.
I do remember the General Atomics factory and what you're talking about with the nanny bot. I may have gone in there outside of the quest, if that's possible.
Oh, I don't know if that location it probably wasn't added by the DLC, I doubt.
Yeah, no, it's always been
I
there.
assume it was always there, yeah. So, yeah, I bet you all that training stuff was there earlier. Jess, what were you looking up?
I was just checking the name of it, if it was actually MSAT. I think it is for Mechanist Satellite. Like, I think that's what MSAT stands for.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the MSAT's what you get from the next quest.
Yeah,
okay.
there's like
This is just the radar beacon.
A radar,
It's just a
right,
radar
right,
beacon.
right. Because radar beacon, then MSAT, then yeah, because you need 3 pieces so she can triangulate.
Yep. So that's when you start headhunting, and you install the beacon into Ada. And at that point, that's when she says, "Well, I can't get that much information from it, but what I can do is, oh, there's another RoboBrain that I can detect in the Commonwealth." And she gives you a location to go find another transmitting RoboBrain.
And this one's over by Fort Hagen, right? So this is like all the Rust Devils and those guys hanging out at the outside.
I think the first
Satellite-ish.
one. Now, is this the same for you guys? Because the first RoboBrain was, of course, in the Robco factory. The second one for me was down near the Shamrock Tap House, right? Down
Right.
in near the edge of South Boston.
Yeah, mine was right next to Hangman's Alley, in
Oh.
that little, the little cluster of buildings that always has something going on in it.
Yeah.
So that one must move. Okay. Yeah, I had to go down to the danger zone for those people who crash on Xbox, which, morning, Catherine, that in that downtown area, it was right in the danger zone, like near the edge of the Faneuil Hall.
Don't go downtown.
Yeah, what I did was I made my way to the Old North Church by the railroad. Then I swam. Ray, I swam.
Hey!
I swam. Mm-hmm. And that way I didn't crash and climb back on shore to find them.
Proud of you, Jess.
Thank you. But yeah, so you have to do a rando one first, which I did not remember that the location varied. That's cool.
Interesting.
Where do you remember where yours was at all, Andrew, or no?
I definitely had to go to the satellite array, but you're saying that was
that's
later.
the big one.
Yeah. I don't recall.
And it's a pretty quick encounter. It's just like yet another group of robots. But there's a tank bot with them and stuff like that. It's rough.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I've been so blasted by so many different bands of robots.
Yeah, the custom house. That was the closest thing to the location where I was the custom house.
I'm glad that they didn't show up on Far Harbor. Could you imagine if the bands of robots started showing up in Far Harbor too? Good Lord.
Yeah, fog buffed robots.
Oh no.
So you get 2 down, 3rd to go. And Ada tracks it to, oh no, oh, this isn't good. Just tell me, Ada, spit it out. Come on, we're going to be okay. I can handle it. She's like, okay, but don't be too confident. And tells us about the Rust Devils and how rough they are, which, like I was saying earlier, we already know. But that's over at the Fort Hagen satellite array. So all the way to the west of the map.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to trek your way over there to the satellite array and find the Rust Devils, who you assume has maybe captured it because, of course, Rust Devils seem to be antagonistic with the Mechanist. Like, you will occasionally find Rust Devil groups and Mechanist groups fighting, and they obviously do not get along.
Yeah, the Rust Devils have... Yeah, they're definitely not on the Mechanist side because they destroy the Mechanist robots to make their armor and such, right?
Yeah. And their own robots that are all spiky.
They reprogram them,
raidery.
Right.
Yeah, so raidery. Yeah, I love some of the name of the armor pieces you get from them in the robot mods, like Annihilator, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Protectron Golem, that thing is huge. That's great. But not only are they attacking the Mechanist robots for parts, but really more than not, it seems like the Mechanist is attacking them and taking their stuff. And they feel like they got a turf war on their hands because they keep getting their bots ransacked by the Mechanist. So there's some bad blood between them.
Definitely so. All right.
And so this part was pretty easy for me too. I was able to take care of their robots with the troubleshooter gun, and then I was able to pick them off with the sniper rifle. There were a few occasions where I had to take out the Ripper and do some close quarter stuff.
Turrets. Like sometimes that would surprise me. I'd go around a corner and there'd be a turret just like blasting the heck out of me. The initial spot where you approach the satellites isn't too bad, especially if you're doing sneaky. If you're being a little sneaky and taking your time, you can get in there and kill them all. But then you ultimately have to climb up into the satellites too, which when you get there, Catherine, if you can't find the thing, just go into the buildings, climb up. It's a little bit hidden in order to get into the base. But it turns out where their base is the old hangar for Fort Hagen. So obviously Fort Hagen right there, underneath the radar array was like this cool secret hangar area, which they've completely refurbished Raider style with, chains and all kinds of robotic stuff. And it's awesome. But you say it wasn't that bad, Ray. I will tell you, it's a little bit of a maze. Like I didn't get lost, but finding the way sometimes was bigger than I remembered. It took quite a while.
And there's a lot of little side rooms but a lot of loot.
There is. I found
if you're
some
not
good
playing, survival, you can actually pick stuff up.
I actually got some XO1 power armor there. So it spawned. There's an area where you got to pick some locks, a security room between two rooms. You can, if you actually get, I think it's an expert lock. I don't think it was master. It's just expert. But if you can pick that lock, there's XO1 power armor there. And for me, it was already C. It was like XO1 level 3 or C or whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is good stuff. A full suit. It was solid. So I actually, once we finished all this, I went back and I grabbed it. I decided that one was worth it.
What dictates what XO1 power armor pieces you'll get? The level, you said they were already level C.
So this set in particular, I think because it is in the DLC, might be a little different. But the usual spawns are based on your level. Whether you get, level, 45, then 51, then 60, and then XO1 as you level up. Mm-hmm. But as far as the pieces on this one being better, no, I don't think it usually changes the pieces that much. There are some places where you're guaranteed a full set of power armor to spawn, but a lot of them it's going to be a random assortment of pieces.
And the C, there's like A through E or whatever models.
F.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I have so little experience with that power armor stuff.
Yeah, I haven't played with it much even this playthrough, but at this point I've got like 5 or 6 sets. Because I've got my original 45, I've got 2 sets of 51, including the cool ass Sugar Bomb set that I got in Vault 28. Then I've got a set of 60. Then I got a set of Raider, the 60 that we get at the end of this, that Tesla stuff. That's pretty nice if you're going to be using energy weapons.
Can you
also,
sorry,
the Tesla gun, but I guess we'll get there.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
Yep.
Can you paint power armor?
Yes.
Okay. I might play around a little bit. Paint over that Vim. What would be the point of that?
Don't paint over the Vim. That's heresy. Like all this rusty ass power armor, you can paint over the Vim.
Is there a Nuka-Cola set?
Yeah. There's the
Nuka
Quantum
World.
set at Nuka World. I know that.
There's a Quantum set? Okay, that would be blue.
Star Course.
I thought there was a red. Oh, no. Shut up. No Star Course.
Yeah, so you weave your way through, you get through all these different rooms and you ultimately end up in a large room with an iBot in a cage and a console with a RoboBrain head.
And just the most lovely little lass in that
She's a sweetheart.
Brain jar.
Super charismatic and kind. Also, the whole time you got a Mechanist iBot shouting from a cage nearby too. That you've got to listen to those.
I shot him right away.
Oh, see, that's smart. I try to get in there. I'm like, oh, I can't get in there. Okay, little guy. And I let him go. So the whole time I'm in here trying to talk to other people, he's just shouting, "People of the Commonwealth, blah blah blah."
The Mechanist will kill you. Oh, great.
No, we are here to save you. Actually, what's neat is that it's the first time we hear the Mechanist talking about you. And the Mechanist being like, there's a new scourge in the Commonwealth. they are destroying our robots, but do not fear. We will take them out. And, all this propaganda about how the Mechanist is going to save the Commonwealth from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time that you hear them shouting about you. So that was different.
It's when you know something's weird about their logic a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. It's a little squirrely. This, I don't quite get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Now-
so
Now, somebody
meet-
that's never done this quest before would very likely walk up, talk to Jezebel, go through her dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
and take her head.
right. Yes, the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Is there another path?
Are you supposed to leave
And
her
then
head,
all
Ray?
of a sudden, alarms start going off, and this giant
Oh,
robot comes rolling out. Ahab.
this is a super tank bot. We were talking about tank bots earlier. This is the tank bot times 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a goat
And-
face killer.
He will just wear you out. But if you're somebody that has done this quest before and you have a high damage output weapon, you can run up to him, bust out your Ripper, hit him, and before he can even activate, he's blown up. If you start shooting at him, he'll come out.
But it's not
And-
that fast. I took him out ahead too, right?
Yeah.
And between myself and Ada already up there because I ran up there, so she kind of had him cornered. We took him down in probably 15, 20 seconds. So way easier than it was the first time, for sure.
I took him out in 1 second. I mean,
Amazing.
he
Wow.
never
great.
even got a chance to activate before he was dead.
I was super scared because I remembered past times fighting Ahab. So I set. Well, I died actually a few times trying to do this, but I set bottle cap mines across the top, but I ended up just like
Smart.
always sparking them, and like I would blow myself up. So
Yeah.
it took a couple of reloads, but I positioned 2 bottle cap mines into what are the electric mines called? Pulse, and
Pulse,
then
yeah.
a few pulse mines there on that ramp, and he didn't even make it down the ramp. But it sounds like you guys would killed him before the door even was finished opening. You know?
Yeah, he was toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took care
But
of
then
him.
you got to run like hell.
Yeah, because he will.
Blows.
Yeah. I just set the mines and activated it, ducked behind the console that Jezebel was stacked on top of, and that blocked the explosion enough where I didn't get a barrage of bottle caps in my face.
And once you take her head, then she starts having conversations with you from your backpack. Encouraging you, cheering you on. You can do this.
Yeah, you just get tired of the relentless positivity from Jezebel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so sugar sweet.
You're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, you're going to get out of here no problem.
Yeah.
Well, what is her story? Where's Jezebel from?
So Jezebel is just another of the Mechanist 3 robo-brains. This is the third you got to.
Mhm.
But the other ones, you didn't stop and have conversations with them so much. So we don't really know what their personalities were like.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they still had weapons attached to them.
So
Right,
I'm just curious if Jezebel did something to the Mechanist to get detached from her robo body.
No,
to-
she got captured by the Rust Devils,
the Rust
Yeah.
Devils took her.
and so they were using
Using her
her to try to get to the Mechanist.
So
Yeah,
they
she
were
was
interrogating her.
they were interrogating her. Okay.
Yep, she was actually captured because you know how Pioneer Park is the cool robot fairgrounds down south near the entrance to the Glow? You know that where you can actually activate the Protectrons, they do a little march and all that?
Right, yeah. There's the death
Yep.
claw there too. Right?
So, of course, those robots there were very tempting. A little bit of lore story here for you. And the Rust Devils were actually going down there to capture those Protectrons. Now, there's a Deathclaw nearby there, too, that they were going to wake up.
Yeah.
But man, they got in there fine. They didn't wake the Deathclaw. They were about to scrap those robots when the Mechanist robots showed up. So then they got in a big old firefight with a bunch of junk bots and scrap box and their robots. And, of course, this woke the Deathclaw. So they had casualties. I think they lost like 2 people and 3 robots. And managed to escape without getting the Protectrons, which is, of course, why we see them
Why
there
they
later.
went there,
But
right.
they did capture Jezebel, the Robobrain, at that time, and that's how they captured her, was during that fight.
That's awesome. Where's that? Is that on some
It's either a terminal or a note. I'm
Terminals.
pretty sure it's a terminal.
That's cool. Good deal. Okay, so Jezebel's from that little robot parade park originally, and you said they're using her brain to try to track down. They're torturing her. What is their method of torture? Just that she's detached from her body.
Yeah, I think and they're just interrogating her.
Yep, threatening to do awful things. They're not going to destroy her brain casing right away, but they're obviously threatening to.
I bet you they're going over to that poor little iBot in the cell and like, I'm gonna snap his antenna unless you tell me.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to care so much. I know we established she's such a caring individual, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like her snark. It is pretty funny. Like she's actually kind of a little bit pleasantly snarky at first, but as it goes on, it gets worse and worse. By the time you get her into your settlement, you realize, wait. So, okay, anyway, you escape. It takes a while to escape the lair because on the way out, it's as long as going in almost. Not quite, but almost. And it's a bit difficult to find a few locations. The place where you have to press a button to extend a bridge and get through some doors. But at the end, you end up fighting the leader of the Rust Devils there, Ivy. And Ivy is wearing this boss-ass suit of Tesla power armor with, like, coils. Like, it's very, very Enclave power armor, Tesla power armor from Fallout 3. Mm-hmm. And she's got that stuff, and it's Solid 260. And she's got a really powerful... I'm pretty sure it's a quantum scrap bot with her, but a custom quantum scrap bot.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a good fight. That's a tough fight if you're not ready for it. So be prepared.
I thought Ahab was the boss of the area. I was just scampering my way out of that. I totally forgot about Ivy and her Assaultron Dominator or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that fight would have gone a lot better for me if I hadn't got stuck on the flagpole.
Oh no.
There's a flag in her little, cabin there. And so I had taken out her robot and was working on her when I got stuck. And it took me, within an inch of my life before I finally broke free and then took her out. But yeah, she didn't stand a chance against the Ripper once it actually made contact.
I just had totally forgot they existed, and I walked into their little cabin there, and she like turned around and started blasting me, and then got a laser blast right in the face from the Assaultron, and I died there, and I was like, oh crap, oh shit, when's the last time I saved? Because like I probably saved when I was setting up the bottle cap mines for Ahab.
Yeah.
Like gotta go, oh shit, gotta do that again and load up and set more mines and. Ugh. So I was more prepared the second time I went through. But yeah, what's Tesla power armor do for you?
It is solid T60 power armor, so all the basic T60 stuff, but it also boosts your energy weapon damage.
Oh, I should have gotten into that.
So if you end up, she's carrying a Tesla rifle, which again, or whatever, yeah, I think it's a rifle, right?
It's a Tesla rifle, yeah.
Once again, we're so used to 76 has brought in everything from the series. You see so much of everything, you forget how special they were when you first find them.
Oh, right.
Which is one thing it does. But yeah, you get the Tesla from her, so you can use that. But any other energy weapons too, it'll boost their damage output.
Mm-hmm. You guys good at doing the thing where you can kill the person, make them get out of their power armor before you kill them, so you can actually have the frame and all that too. I always just pull off, like I just took the Tesla parts with me. You guys ever try to? Evidently, you can pop out their.
I sometimes shoot out the fusion core.
The fusion core.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that. I can never get that to work.
I mean, with that, you can target it.
Yeah. I always end up killing them before I can.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I usually end up killing them too, anyway. But I do try every once in a while.
Yeah. But that would have been useful to hop in that stuff right away. But I should have taken it to the next part, restoring order.
Yeah,
yes.
I just threw it in Ada's inventory, and we got the heck out of Dodge.
She
called it a day. So after you kill Ivy, it's easy enough to get out, and then you just got to head back. You got to you got to get Jezebel a body worthy of her magnificence, and so you already have a robotic workbench by then. Mm-hmm. But so you go back and you build her something. You stick her in whatever you feel like. And no matter what you choose, by the way, even if you choose something pretty sweet, she's going to complain about it.
Oh, of course. She's so nice.
But she's always on about humans' limited intelligence and that sort of thing. But yeah, so when you get back and you get her a body, I think that is when the quest ends, right? And the next quest begins. No, okay, right. So you get her body, and that's when she gives you all the information that she promised, which originally she promised to get information to help her escape. And then once you're out, she promises to get you information once you get her body.
Now it needs a
you
new
know,
body, right?
yeah, she's just kind of escalating. So once you do that and you talk to her and go through all that, you can go through a bunch of different questions and talk. Clint mentions again that she's a big part of the RoboBrain's logic, and you find out from her. It seems like RoboBrain's logic, talking about orders and directives, are that they've been directed to help the people of the Commonwealth, and that the ultimate end goal of helping, they kind of basically work around and interpret it as death. That
since there's only a 20% chance that the human is going to survive, their chances are better if she just kills them.
Right, 25% chance success, 75% chance humans dying anyway, no matter what she does. She therefore deduces that simply killing them right away is the most efficient solution, as it serves to hasten mankind's inevitable fates and spares them the suffering of their existence. So she's helping them alleviate the suffering. Anyway, this is kind of twisted RoboBrain logic, but you're going to find later on when you're reading stuff at RoboBrains, but also talking to her, that they're very much about efficiency, about reinterpreting commands whichever way they want, that A, serves their ends the most, but is also the most efficient. Basically, they want to finish their day chores for the day and just, mess around. So they're just going to throw everything in the closet if it works.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, I kind of identify with her now that I put it that way.
As you're leaving Fort Hagen, isn't there a terminal where Ivy scolds people for erasing the top scores of the game, and you get the Automatron game cartridge there and everything? I remember that being a good terminal.
She was so mad. She had high score. When you look at the high scores, they're all like AAA.
Oh, someone reset them. The jerks. They did that on purpose. All right, so let's get over there to Robco, since what's it?
Jezebel told us that we can get in with an MSAT device. So now we have 3 things. We can triangulate the location.
Mm-hmm.
We know we need an MSAT device. So we install that into Ada. Or technically you can put it in another robot, I think.
Yeah. But can you take Jezebel?
No. She's not a companion, but she's going to happily, she's free to go, but she just decides to wander around your settlement because she wants to find out how bad of a mess you make of things.
Yeah, you need Jezebel and Strong walking around if you want a nice positive vibe in your settlement.
Yeah, she's hanging around in the Sunshine Tidings robot farm for me.
Hey, that's where she is for me too, Ray.
Yeah. So, but all she has for company are other robots.
That's how she likes it. I guarantee. She doesn't like people very much. All right, so she gives us the MSAT, which is that the blue grid lock device that you get to open up
open up the doors,
the really cool
Maxwell
doors,
smart doors.
Yeah, they're really neat. They did a good job with those doors. All right, so we have that installed on your favorite robot. I chose to take Ada. I also added another couple of mods to her. I give her. How do you like your robots decked out? I gave her double lasers. For some reason I don't like the claws much. They can have a better range, take stuff on. So I gave her double lasers, one on each arm. What do you guys like to do for your robot alterations?
Yeah, I didn't change her loadout at all because I knew that she was not going to spend a lot of time, helping me out with this.
Oh, she's not?
She starts out pretty tough.
Just takes a knee the whole time, Ray?
Pretty much.
Oh, see? Well, if you deck her out, she doesn't take a knee as much. I upgraded.
When she takes a knee, she's not in your way.
Oh, fair.
She's not alerting enemies. She's not activating turrets. Everything's a sneak attack.
Having both Dogme and Ada in this mission, oh my gosh. And when we get there, I'll tell you. But as far as how she's decked out, I I like adding the actuated stuff to her. A lot of the actuated armor, you get better armor, you get faster movement. You can add armor to the face. You can add carry weight to her if you want. I usually skip the carry weight stuff. I just do stuff to make her more effective in battle, tougher. I leave one hand with a claw. Now, in previous games, I have switched the other one to a flamer or cryo. So she's got like, just the cool cryo slowing things down, or she's got the flame because that's awesome. Then the other one, I keep laser.
You have the option to remove her head totally. Is there any strategic thing? Is it better to put armor on a head or just remove her head from being a target?
I have never removed her head.
Yeah, I do that to all my provision robots. I take off their arms, give them a thruster, take off their head, so it's just a floating sentry bot or Protectron torso that has a cow following it around the wasteland.
That's amazing. That's entirely amazing. But yeah, I guess it does remove a target. You're right.
I found they don't really need to defend themselves because the game just has them reset at the edge of the cell and walk up, and then I don't think they're actually taking a walk, you guys.
I think I'm going to give her an Assaultron head laser, but she was a sentry bot for me this whole playthrough.
Oh, nice. I put Ahab's mask on her just because it looks really cool because she has like a red light coming out of her face.
Yeah, she does that for regular sentry bot as well. I like that look.
Put the Ahab mask on her. Oh, it's really neat. Actually, you have to switch her head to. I noticed that you couldn't put the Ahab mask on anything but the sentry. No, whatever the tank bot, those are called. Those that head. You had to put that on there in order to get Ahab's mask on. But I've got her floating around, double lasers with Ahab's mask on, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Kind of metal.
Very metal. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're off to the Mechanist Lair, and the Mechanist Lair is kind of over east of Boston, just slightly.
Hey, Ray, it's right on the water.
But oddly enough, I did not swim.
What?
How else would you get there?
So my closest settlement was Nordhagen Beach.
Okay.
So it's just a quick walk
over the bridge,
across that little peninsula, over past the East City Downs, and so it was easier than swimming all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in between Nordhagen and the Robco to give you any trouble, so.
Yep.
It was definitely cool.
So this is another Robco location. So Robco sales and service locations, but of course it has a hidden secret. And when you get in, you can access a kind of secretish door and get into the Mechanist Lair. Now, one thing I will say for this, and I want to hear what you guys had, and also anyone listening, if you want to let me know if you had this too. The visuals for this were very messed up. Whenever I faced a certain direction, I had that thing where, when you're behind a wall and you can kind of see through the wall, and then you see the sketchiness of everything. The entire way through the Mechanist Lair, I did it anyway. But if I faced basically kind of northeast, and in a few rooms it changed, I couldn't see where I was going. So like when the big doors opened, I'd be walking into nothingness, into like a corridor. Like it was very freaky. So did either of you have this problem?
No, I didn't have that.
Had to be from one of my texture mods or something. I don't know what caused it, but it was very, very weird. And I kept hoping it would stop. And there were times where there'd be a room that was fine, but it's the only time this entire playthrough I've had that. So, no big deal. But say you get in, and it's the Mechanist Lair is huge. It is huge. And it turns out this is actually a secret research and construction facility, and where they're working on RoboBrains, which we'll learn as we go through.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the very first areas you get into after you get into the lair itself, and you get through the first scan door where she has to scan it and it opens up, there's an area that if you walk in, there's a huge bunch of laser grids in what looks like the rat arches.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you touch them, the door behind you and in front of you are going to slam down, and 4 Tesla turrets will open up on you.
Oh, no.
2 behind above the door, 2 in front above the door. And it is a literal, it is a kill room. It is an absolute kill room. It will destroy you.
Because it senses that you're not a robot.
Yes. And dog meat.
Ada can pass through, no problem.
Yeah,
But
dog meat can't. And dog meat was tenacious. So the first 3 times I tried this,
Oh no.
I'm trying to get in there, and dog meat trips the. And I should have told him to stay back the third time. I know it. I realized that, and I did the final time. But the first couple, I didn't, because I kept thinking if I get in there quick enough and I start shooting the Tesla turrets, we're going to be okay. But then dog meat would trip it. And I was taking too long to find them in position because they're hidden above the door jam. You got to get in there where they can shoot you and stuff before you can really take them out. So yeah, it was rough. And those Tesla things, they will take you down so fast. It was like nothing. They just melted me. So anyway, it's a kill box. It's dangerous. And after that, the doors open back up, and more robots come in to kill you too. So was that your experience, Ray or Andrew, or no?
I don't recall that.
So there's a hole in the wall to the left that you can get into a room where there's a terminal where you can hack the terminal and shut off the sensors.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can't believe I missed that. It was 6 a.m.
You do have to have
advanced.
I don't remember if it was an advanced
I
terminal,
think it's advanced. It might be master even.
but yeah, but so fortunately, all I had was Ada with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through and disabled each and every one of those little sensors.
Oh, see, that's so smart.
And
yeah,
she's
that would work.
walking back and forth, running into me. I was just waiting for her to bump me into the beam and set the stupid thing off. But yeah, I did it that way.
For me, it was a kill box. For Ray, it was an exercise in patience that actually worked. How about you, Andrew? Did you make it through fine, or?
Yeah, just dandy. I did a Ray's way and pick apart all the sensors. But then I also realized, wait, I've got level whatever of sneak that means I don't set off traps anymore. And I had Travis with me. I don't think the little Brotherhood Squire came in. I think he and Billy stayed outside, if I remember right. But yeah, Travis tends to stay behind me, so I just picked those apart. But if I have that level of sneak that prevents me from setting off traps, would I be able to walk through there like a robot? Didn't even think about that.
I'm guessing no.
No, this is
I
a
don't
different
know for
style
sure,
of
but
trap.
I think because the way that it's a unique, it's not a regular trap.
Right. Okay.
It probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It's a good call, though. Good idea.
Yeah, not too bad. Ray, in that same room with the terminal, I believe, is also a door.
Yeah, there's a locked door that lets you get around it as well.
Yeah, there's a whole back door to this. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about it after?
Well, we can talk about it after if you want. Doesn't matter to me because I discovered it after when it would have been helpful.
Yeah, that's when we all discover it.
Yeah.
For that first playthrough, we're like, oh, maybe in a future playthrough I'll do it like this.
Yeah.
But
so I
tried
to do it. I tried to do it that way, but I don't remember. It's like if you need, I guess it's lockpick or hacking, and I didn't add that module to Ada when I had her. It's like, fuck, I should have added the lockpick module so she could open that door for me and we'll get in the back door and not pass about half the stupid level. Just skip it.
So we won't talk through the whole lair. Just keep in mind the lair is huge. There are many rooms, many, many robots.
Very
number of
mazy.
traps. It's the real gauntlet. Even more than the one in the Nuka World. It's
another ramp with another tank bot and all sorts of stuff. Yep.
Yeah, that ramp stands out. And that's a weird one, too. You actually trying to figure out where to go from there. There's a place where you press a button to extend the stuff across. And yeah, that can take a minute to figure out sometimes. But long story short, as you go through, you end up in each wing here. And that's when each wing has a supervisor or an engineer, and you can grab their holotape. So you get the lead engineer's holotape, facilities director holotape, and chief scientist holotape, which will be important later for the alternate method of completing this. But if you're going through normally, you get through all these sections. And the last section, that's when you find out that not only was this a robot crafting facility, But they also were working on the experimental stuff like I was talking about. It was R&D, and this is where they were kind of developing and distributing robo-brains.
Oh, right. Those cells.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. Yeah, there's this whole row of cells with ghouls on each side, but those used to be people, and they're probably taking their brains, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, and you learn that essentially they were, using any number of subpar or deviant brains a bit in the robo brains, but like there's a whole story. There's a whole backstory to the brains, and it's imperfect technology using human brain in a robot, all the issues that it might cause, and that's when they learn over time that they tend to be devious, self-serving, and willfully misinterpreting orders and stuff like that, like we found here with Jezebel. But of course, the mechanist in setting this up might not be aware of all that, and the mechanist is using, the robo-brains to lead the troops.
Her generals.
And when you're in those, when you're in that cell block, there is one bed you can sleep in.
I found that. Yeah, I was like, oh man, when's the last time I saved? I hope I can sleep in one of these. Yeah, there is one that'll let you activate.
It's the one that's on the ground.
It's a floor. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that was thinking along the same lines. Yeah.
So you make it far enough, you eventually end up getting you end up fighting some enemies that you get a card from, and you can get through into the central room. Where the mechanist will confront you.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. And, the mechanist is just declaiming and, declaring you an enemy of the Commonwealth, taking you out. And of course, at this point, you're pretty suspicious that the mechanist's motives seem very off because their robots are out there killing people. Mm-hmm. You know that they're, causing havoc and mayhem. And yet they keep talking about how you're the scourge and they're going to stop you.
Well, it also becomes apparent that the mechanist had no idea what she was doing when she was programming the robo-brains, and like she's not actually following the actions that are occurring outside, and she thinks she's doing something noble, and that you like you said, are the enemy. So she's just, totally set this up and just sat back and not checked in on the progress.
And so that's
of the project.
That's the big reveal. After you do a huge fight here, where basically waves of robots come out more and more, and you keep putting them down, more come through. As they keep creating them, it ends up being a power drain that will eventually shut the facility down, so that you can then confront the mechanist and hopefully, you have some persuasion options, but you can ultimately talk to them down. They take off the helmet. As they find out, the mechanist is actually a woman named Isabel Cruz, who's really great with robots. And when she discovered this facility, like she came to the Commonwealth she heard there were a bunch of Robco facilities up here. And she had no idea that this facility was here. Like she just knew there were, Robco centers. She was going to work on robots, make a home for herself in the Commonwealth. And when she found this facility, she's like, wow, I can do so much good. And then she started exploring, building the robots and putting the robo-brains, getting them functioning. Mm-hmm. After some experiments, and that is she sets up the whole facility. There's a base in their network, and of course the ones in the field. But she isn't aware that the robots are causing so much mayhem. Now you can ask her about this. Did you guys ask her about didn't you detect? Don't you have any way of watching and seeing what your robots are doing out there?
What'd she say?
If you do that, she says, of course I do. And I've been checking, and I have data of every hostile encounter they sent back. So she's tracking hostile engagement data, but there's no visual. It's just simply the robots encountered 3 hostiles, took them out. The robots encountered 2 hostiles, took them out. All of that.
That looks like a good thing, but what are they considering
She
hostiles?
doesn't realize that her robots are instigating it.
Right.
Yeah. They're only hostile because the robots are attacking them.
Yeah, and they're just
Isn't
defenseless
this a
people.
Situation that the Silver Shroud dialogue comes into play?
Yes.
Okay.
And Andrew, did you do that? We haven't talked about that. Did you do it?
No, I meant to. Our good buddy Leon hopped in the other day and was just like, oh, before you do Automatron and Nuka World, make sure you get the Silver Shroud outfit because there's some, individual interesting dialogue options that pop up and stuff like that. But no, I actually didn't. I want to. Maybe I'll sneak in and do that before we go over to Nuka World because I've also told that there's especially in the Western zone, that there's some Silver Shroud specific dialogue options too. But yeah, Silver Shroud, good. Do it, people. Before
hopefully we hear about that
Automatron.
and some feedback for sure. That would be awesome.
Yes, I still have not been to Good Neighbor.
But long story short, you can, kill her because of all the destruction and mayhem she's caused.
Uh-huh.
You can negotiate a truce or a peace, and ultimately she will give you the lair to do with as you will and the mechanist outfit and be a reformed mechanist, hopefully.
Where does
But
she
yeah, it's a
go
pretty
physically?
severe mistake.
Where does she go physically? Do you cast
She
her
stays
out?
there.
She stays there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives there now. She's still working on and fixing the RoboBrains, and she gives you radiant quests called Rogue Robots, where you go out and you got to track down a group or a single robot, and take them out and come back. So it's another radiant quest. And if you build a settlement there, in that whole lair area, it can be a pretty useful place to go back to. I mean, I never do, but some people do.
And they've
it's kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of.
Mhm.
But I got a notification that it opened up a sim settlements opportunity there, so
nice.
I may make her mayor of Mechanistville.
Oh, great. I noticed.
So for me, it was so I got to her no problem,
Yeah.
but when it came to that final fight,
The barrage of
I
robots.
died every single time. I just, there was too much ranged weaponry. I'm running around, hitting them with the Ripper, but it was just, it was just not happening. So I left
Oh no.
and went back to Hangman's Alley, and I had stored the Tesla armor there.
Oh, there you go.
And so I put the Tesla armor together. I maxed it out. I got all the, everything to the max, all my energy weapon, and explosive damage protection to the max.
Mm-hmm.
And then went back.
What's the Tesla base skill again? Like it ups your energy
Weapons, yeah. So it made my
it increases
made my
your
plasma
damage
better.
or makes your resistance higher.
So the paint that I put on it made it energy resistant.
And is that like the Brotherhood
Tesla,
paint or some what paint is
it? I don't remember. Prismatic, maybe.
interesting? Okay.
Yeah, Prism. Yep.
And so, but then I also had the Tesla legendary effect that upped my my plasma weapon.
That's great.
So went back in. Of course, Ada stands in there and starts going toe to toe. So when the first robots came out, she was down, and I just left her. I was tucked in.
Well, yeah.
To a nice spot where I could just pop out and and snipe because most of they all kind of congregate either up on the catwalks or in the center of the floor, and so I was able to pop out from behind the containers, pick them off, and slowly but surely, get them all done. And then she also drops robots from the scaffolding that explode like grenades. But I was also, not only was I tucked in a corner, I was also covered by scaffolding.
Nice.
So they couldn't drop
great.
on me.
Yeah.
She talks about how iBots are pretty expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I did it
so,
mostly from the catwalks. I just try to stay on the ground. I'm running and jumping between catwalk to catwalk to catwalk. And luckily, with both Dogmeat and Ada there, because I've got the two of them, they can distract them a bit so they're not right in my face that often.
Yeah. I only had one or two of them come up to me. And so I just switched out to the Ripper before they got close enough and took them out, no problem.
Yeah, the most dangerous for me are the double-bladed quantum scrap bots that happen along the way. They're pretty ridiculous all the way through, and then even again here. And then the final robot, the duel. Is it a duel bot?
Dual bot.
Yeah, there were a bunch of pretty gnarly ones,
Mhm. Yeah,
but
you get a real mix.
yeah. But fortunately, once I was able to get to where I could withstand, the explosions and also there's electrical charges that come down from the ceiling.
Tesla arcs and stuff. Yeah.
So my power armor protected me from that. I was finally able to get through that. And when it all wrapped up, and I gave her a pass, and because I want to make her mayor. Um, um, it finally got me to level 46, which was the level I needed to get Blitz.
Yay!
So now heading into Nuka World, I'll have Blitz,
Which is so necessary for any
for
sort of melee build, and you're using your Ripper a lot, so that'll really add an extra angle of damage there. That's great.
Yeah. So, and then my goal is to wear the overboss power armor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the bumper car?
Yeah.
Power
Yeah.
armor? Nice.
We'll be getting there soon.
What
2 more
weapon,
weeks.
What weapon does that dude use? Is it a energy weapon?
I don't remember what it does.
Nice.
I did it on a playthrough recently where I did everything at like level 5.
Yeah.
Where you go to Far Harbor, by walking across the top of the map where there's no enemies to get to the Nakanos, and it was you skip all the Far Harbor stuff and just go right to the Children of Adam, do the quest to get the Adam's Judgment, and then immediately leave and go to Nuka World.
Does what is it? Adam's Judgment, extra radiation damage or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's extra effective against that guy?
No, it's just effective in general.
In general, okay.
It's just cool.
Cool.
Sometimes it's just cool.
My Ripper does more damage at this point, and I haven't even gotten Blacksmith yet.
So to quickly wrap the quest, because we kind of went through all our various permutations. The alternate method that we were talking about would be if you collected all those supervisor holotapes, the stuff from the engineer and the lead roboticist and what have you. If you then go back towards the beginning of the lair, right near the beginning, we were talking about the area where you got in, and there's a terminal there, and that door you mentioned, Ray. And if you go through, what is it? You can use the terminal or unlock the door. You hack through there, you get into an area, and then in order to access the elevator, you need to use the 3 holotapes you picked up, correct?
That's cool.
And if you do that, so you have to hack, you have to lockpick, and you have to have these holotapes. You do that, you get access to the elevator, which then lowers you in as a back door into the Mechanist lair on the side where you can actually get to her. So then you can find her, have a confrontation, and resolve it peacefully without the huge battle.
That's amazing. I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah, but I never have. Like, we found that, when you're leaving the first time, because you find the secret door and you find the way through. And, But I've never actually done that because I forgot again.
I don't know if it's a master lock or whatever, but I told Ada to unlock it. She's like, I can't do that. It's like, but I thought I gave you the lockpick module. So I don't know, maybe is her lockpick skill based on yours at all? Like, does it have anything to do with you?
No, because otherwise you wouldn't
do it.
You would just do it yourself.
Yeah. I wonder why she couldn't unlock it. I don't know. Yeah, I know
Nick has problems hacking sometimes.
Usually you just do it over and over again. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else we need to cover on the quests tonight?
I feel like that wraps up all of Automatron. You get a cool lair. You have the,
outfit.
excitement of success, and a bunch of levels from
A bunch
all
of
this.
levels from all the XP from the robots, unless you did it
Plus-
the nice way.
Yeah. Plus, you unlock all the mods you didn't have yet at the robotics workbench, so you can now build all the different mods.
Right, with all the dead robots around.
hmm
Yep, very nice. Did you kill her, Jess?
No, I didn't.
Ray, you let her around because you wanted her to be mayor. Very nice,
Andrew?
guys. Was basically just sneaking all over the place. I had a perch up there on the catwalk. And I don't ever kill her either, just because it's not...
It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Robo-Brain's fault. And I know she put the Robo-Brains in positions of power, and that was a bad mistake, but I don't know if that deserves death, because
It's
they
true.
were doing something that was not her actual intent. So
Yeah.
Right.
She was the CEO, so really she should get a $40 million.
she should a golden parachute. Yeah, get out of there with an extra large chunk of change and a yacht. Right? Sounds good. Well, at least she gets to hold the key, that really big key that you're going to give her when you tell her she's mayor of whatever that. It's just called Mechanist Layer, isn't it?
Yeah, the Mechanist Layer.
And it was fun going down all the ramps and stuff there. That last door, before you go into the actual last chamber with the Mechanist, I got the indication that you can now fast travel from your settlements or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, this must be the edge of your build area.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you pass that a couple of times on your way through.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get close enough to where you get that message.
But I've always taken the Mechanist Layer, but I've never really done extensive building in there, so I didn't really know how far up.
I've never needed to build in there because it's got all the stuff in there you want.
Except for food, right? You have to have the garden plots or whatever to plant food in there if you want to make it an actual settlement. It's like I remember there's something weird about the
if you link
Brotherhood,
a supply line, you don't need food.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I guess you're
fair.
right.
You really don't. This is all stuff Katherine will find out in a week or so if she goes through and does Automatron herself.
Oh, I can't wait. I always like your feedbacks a lot, Katherine.
Thank you.
Yeah, she knows the power of an explosive pistol. All right. So I think that will wrap up our portion of the Mechanist Layer. Remember to send us your 5-minute feedback, everybody, and we'd like to hear all of the cool stuff that happened to you along the way when taking on the Mechanist and her evil layer of robots. Send your 5-minute feedback to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. And I'd like to take this second before we switch over to Katherine and her over in Cucumberment game. Just like to remind everyone that this is a good breaking point in the season. So if you'd like to hop in, roll yourself a character at the Fallout Feed site on the asapodcasting.com. Give yourself a nice character, and you can hop in and do the rest of the season with us because we're heading over to Nuka World. So
It's a long season. Yeah, everything takes longer in survival for sure, but it's a long season. So some people might have also stopped and are ready now to hop into Nuka World with us.
Yeah. So if you'd like to join in the fun, please do. And we'd like to have you aboard. So let's go ahead and roll into a little bit of game time. What time is it?
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
Katherine, you brought a game with you. Very awesome. What do we got?
I did. So Jess, you made the mistake last week
No.
with Will of talking about cheesing the game with your companions, asking them to pick things up for you. So I'm assuming your companions are way over cucumbered. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a simple game, but basically what we're going to do is there are 23 letters of the alphabet that assign to different junk items in Fallout 4.
What?
So you guys can either take turns or you can collaborate together, but we are going to assign a junk item to every letter of the alphabet. So it just has to start with that letter.
I love this. So we are doing a scream list in alphabetical order of junk items with the A, B, C. I
So
say
I'm-
we go in order and take turns.
I'm thinking we either go in order of the alphabet or you guys pick and choose your letters and go against each other. But that might get confusing. So whichever way you want to do it.
I think going in order would work.
Okay.
Picking and choosing letters and going against each other. Like, what would that be? Like, I say I take B, and I gotta name something for B,
Yeah.
or
It's going to get complicated.
yeah.
I think this should be a team building exercise, and we just try to roll down
Okay.
in order. And you're of course talking about the actual junk items, not the components they break down into.
Yes, just the junk items. I have the entire list up from the wiki, so that's just what I'm going to check for.
All right. This is a good game. I like this. All right, so yeah, I think we all three work together and see how many of the 26... Wait, how many did you say?
There's 23 of them. The only ones that don't exist are Q, X, and Z. And then if you want, I can give you J, because J only has one.
I know. I already know what J is. Come on.
So these are junk items, as in junk components, right?
Junk items,
So-
not the components.
Yeah, just the items, like
Yeah.
what you're picking up.
What's funny is I almost ran this scream list like 2 months ago. I had it on the sheet as Tales of a Junk Town Junkie Vendor instead of Jerky Vendor. And Andrew's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a scream list for junk." So I was actually thinking about it not too long ago.
Nice. This seems like a
Okay.
good way to do it. All right, so we'll work together here. Who wants to go
Letter
first?
A.
Are we taking turns or all going?
You said we work together.
Yeah.
So, but if we know, we know. So do you want to be fair? Rotate, but we can all help each other.
Yep.
So I'll just
sounds
start
fun.
with A and I'll say acid. Is that good? Is acid a junk component?
Acid's
Acid
the
is a
That's a
component.
component.
Yeah.
She wants what breaks down into acid.
Oh.
So a Braxo cleaner.
Abraxo.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you. I was thinking
And
component.
we just have to get one per letter, right? It's not like
Yes,
you
just
could
one.
say antique globe or something.
Okay, B.
Let's see.
The first B you come across is the baby bottle in your old house in Sanctuary.
Yep, that's the first one listed.
Beautiful.
Okay, C.
A C junk item. Let's see.
Camera.
There you go. Good
Yep.
one, Ray.
Okay. Then D is up next.
Is damaged camera also one?
I mean it isn't 76, but are we doing just 4? Are we doing both games?
I think, a lot of them go back and forth.
Yeah,
but,
they're mostly on both.
The list I'm looking at is just for 4.
Okay, so D. First thing I think of is dirty water. That's not going to be it.
No, almost a junk item though.
Dinky
Yeah.
the dinosaur, wrong game.
Crank up those screws.
I was gonna say there's
Desk
a lot.
fan. Number 1 item, desk fan.
There you
I
go.
think that starts with an S. I mean an F. Okay, E.
Yes.
You have anything, Ray?
Of course. Economy Wonder Glue.
Oh, nice.
I was hoping somebody would pick that one.
That's beautiful.
It's a good one.
Okay, F.
So F.
Not only is it beautiful, it's 5 adhesive.
Yes.
It's a good amount of adhesive. What do we got for F? There's like fishing rods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That would
fishing rod.
count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing pole. I'm not
Fishing-
sure if
okay,
it's
it
a
is
rod or
on here.
pole.
No, I think it's
Rod
called
is on
a
here.
rod.
Yes.
Fishing rod.
Okay. G.
Globe.
Globe
is a good one.
not on here.
They're not all. Oh, are they all categorized?
Oh, right, 'cause
There's
it might be
there's
antique globe.
globes.
Yes, it's
and
antique globe.
And really,
Okay.
there's really only one G. We should,
Ghoul flesh.
no.
What you got, Ray?
Everybody's hobby horse.
The
Giddy up,
Giddy
Buttercup.
Up Buttercup.
Thank you. I'm like Thank
Buttercup.
you. I'm like Buttercup. I'm thinking, how's it a G? I totally forgot the name for a second.
Giddy Up Buttercup. Body or legs or head or there's all sorts of parts.
Ray is right on top of this one. That's awesome.
It's also funny, they list the gilded grasshopper as junk.
No,
For
the
G.
gilded grasshopper is junk. Oh, that is just wrong. Okay. H. Is there just a hairbrush?
Yes, there is a hairbrush.
Nice.
Go with, unless you have a cooler one.
I was hoping
Handcuffs.
for hallucinogen gas canister.
Oh,
but
there you
take
go.
hairbrush.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's a good one. I like handcuffs.
I always go for the handcuffs, because again, screws.
Okay, I.
Just taking some thought.
There's only 5 I items.
But that's 5 to pick from. We should be able to get there.
5 eyes.
There's
Let's
not an
see,
ink well or ink blotter.
Is there ionized something or other?
Yeah. Okay. The silent moment. I'm just trying to think. Nothing starts with ice.
Iguana bits. No.
That's not junk.
I know. Let's see.
Oh, isn't no.
Irradiated.
Okay, so maybe I'll
anything?
give you the components they scrap into. So one of them is aluminum and oil.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a canister of some kind.
Yeah.
What kind of canister would it be? I don't know.
Oh, there's that kind of largish oil canister.
Mhm.
Yep. What's it
Then there's
called?
the gas can.
Industrial canister. or
Oh,
something
industrial
like
fumigator, right? A
In-
fuminizer.
It's industrial oil canister.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
that. We
That
nailed
works.
that one. Good
There
job,
was
guys. High
also
five.
industrial size shortening, industrial solvent, an IV bag.
IV bag. There you go.
Yeah, and then the injector.
Oh, I wouldn't have ever thought of the injector, but the other 4
Yeah.
we should know. Yeah, I just had to think of industrial to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, HIJ.
Like I said, Jay only has 1.
Oh, that one stands out clearly to me.
What is it, Andrew?
It's everybody's favorite moon monkey.
Yep.
Jangles?
There you go.
Everyone's
one.
favorite banana astronaut. K.
K only has 2.
Let's see.
Well, and you get both of them in Sanctuary when you start scrapping that place.
Ooh, Ray knows it. What do we got, Ray?
Kickball.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And
Oh, actually, there's 3. They list
Kitchen scale.
Yes, that's the other one. And then they have Night Reese's Hollow Tag or
Night Reese's
Oh.
Holotech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
that's junk.
That's funny. Okay.
You're good at this, Ray. You seem you got them on the tip of your tongue.
Okay,
Well,
L.
I've kind of, done a lot of scrapping.
Yeah, over the years they add up. Yeah, this is almost like there's too many choices. I'm being overwhelmed by too many and making it hard. I don't know. It's my excuse. L, can you scrap a ladle? I'm sure there's lots of L's though.
Yes, there are tons of L's, but ladle is on
Yeah,
there.
ladle
yes.
sounds good.
M.
Also a good place to get crystal.
Your microscope,
Yes.
is that right?
Yep. That's a good one. Or magnifying glass.
Right.
Magnifying glass is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay. N.
Newspaper. No.
I think it's just
they're
Boston
called
Bugle as
Boston
the junk
Bugle,
item in
aren't
this
they?
one.
Yeah, that's not on there.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is it like new stuff? Don't they have like new ceramic vase or something? Isn't that one of them?
Anything new is under
Yeah.
this one.
New toy car.
There
Yeah.
you go. Awesome.
There we go. Okay. O.
Orange
Oil?
canister or orange
Yeah.
crushed canister. Whatever
Orange
that was
canister is a
called.
good one.
Did you know that orange canister must be 76 only because
Really?
it's not on for.
No way.
How
Oh,
dare?
wow.
How dare?
We have oil canister, but no orange canister.
We'll go with oil canister then.
Okay.
P. I bet you pencil's probably on the list unless it's
Yep.
unless there's categories on it. Old pencil, new pencil, broken pencil.
R.
Yeah,
Right, 'cause we skipped
no
Q.
Q.
Yes.
are rusted something or other, I'm sure.
How about robot model?
Ooh, are those junk? Or
let
are those
me see.
miscellaneous?
Oh, and they go by category, so it's Protectron, Assaultron, all that.
Right.
They are not on the junk list, but Andrew, you mentioned the newspaper
Yes.
for R.
Oh,
Rolled newspaper.
Yes,
rolled newspaper.
rolled
There you go.
Boston Bugle.
That's a good choice. Good one. Can you give us a couple of the R's real quick? Because I feel like I should know some.
Yeah, let me see. Rad Scorpion Stinger,
Oh, come on.
Totally.
Rat Poison,
Rat
Ew,
poison,
yeah.
right.
Recorder, Red Plate,
Recorder.
things like that.
Okay, S.
There's a lot of S's.
Oh, I'm sure. It's got to be a billion of them. Let's see.
Silver. Like there are some things like silver platter.
Silver pocket watch. Silver. Oh, wait, those are golden, aren't they?
Those are gold.
No, Silver Pocket Watch exists.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay. T.
Teacup. Oh, teapot.
Oh, I love those teapots.
Yep.
Are they categorized though? Do they have a qualifier?
I just saw- I just saw one last night.
Like
I
house
thought just a
teapot or
Yep, you can do teapot. There's tea kettle and teacup.
ooh,
all the
three.
T's.
But more importantly, telephone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're picking all the cool circuitry and fiberglass ones. Like
That's the
it's so
ones-
funny. It's blowing my mind. I was all ready for components. I'm like, oh, we got this list. And then it's junk
It's
items.
the junk, not the components.
Well, and that's the hard part about it. You have to learn, oh, this has gears and plastic, so I need to look for this
Yeah.
particular item, sort of
Mhm.
thing. U is next.
Like umbrellas or umbrella stands.
Both of those are on here.
Nice.
Also, anything that said unrusted, untarnished, unused, undamaged is on here. V is next.
Very nice junk. V. Are there a lot of V's? Doesn't sound like there would be a ton of
1,
them.
2, 3, 5. I don't count one of them, but they do.
So for me, V is vegetable starch.
Yep.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
and- But
Another
that counts-
5 adhesive.
That counts as junk, even though you have to make it. But you can find it too occasionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were vacuum tube, vase, vegetable starch, vodka, which I don't count that.
Yeah,
and
that's
a
not
vodka
junk.
How's
bottle.
vodka junk?
I mean, it's not the best alcohol. I'm down with that.
I
But
mean, it depends what kind of vodka.
it's true. True.
Vacuum
Why?
tube. Good one.
Would a yellow flight helmet count? No, that's
Did we do W?
that's
Yeah,
clothing.
W's next.
Oh, W's next. Darn it. W.
Is there a wax anything? No.
White plate.
White plate. There you go. That's probably on there.
White plate is on there. You also could have said Wonder Glue. Or
Much better
That's
one.
what I would have said.
yeah. Wooden block. There's
Right?
4 of those. Okay, Y.
I said yellow flight helmet, but then I realized
Yeah,
that would
that'd
actually
Be
be
a
like
barrel.
clothing, right? So it probably
But
doesn't
is there a
count.
yellow canister?
No.
There's yellow paint.
There is
There is
yellow
yellow
paint.
paint.
Nice. Good one.
And that's
And
all
that's
of
the
them.
list.
Wow, we did it. We came up with one for every. Did you have to give us any? I feel like.
No, I don't think I did.
She kind of gimmied
I
us
thought there was one of them.
with the fan a little bit, but otherwise, I think we're good. Yeah.
All
Or
right.
was it the eyes? The eyes.
Yeah, I
was the
think it was the
industrial.
eyes. We
Yeah,
did
Yeah.
that was the one.
That one was
Industrial.
hard.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome, Catherine. Thank you so much for bringing
Yeah, nice game.
game time for this week. Really fun stuff. All right, we have some iguana bits to get into. Jess, exciting
Sure,
stuff
just a-
about the Fallout TV show. It looks like.
Couple quick bits tonight. So I talked a bit about the summer camp challenge. The summer camp challenge is on now. It goes from July 25th, that was this Tuesday, until August 8th. So you still have a week and a half to go. It's a 2-week event. And in it, there is a list of challenges. It's a progressive challenges for rewards. So everybody logging in is going to get a free Squirrel Scout backpack. You need to equip that Squirrel Scout backpack in order to actually do the challenges and have a lot of them count. So do the skin, put it on, do your challenges. Not much more to say on them. The list for them is right in the challenge list menu as always. So you can go ahead and find those. It is a progressive unlock too. So at level 7, you're going to unlock an item, and then at level I think you unlock the squirrel backpack for 7. I don't quite remember, but you get something. It's decent, and then at level 10, you unlock the bigger reward. So that's going on for 2 weeks. Make sure to do it. Then looking ahead on the calendar. Well, I mean, right now we're in a treasure hunter weekend. Double mutations isn't an event. Keep it off my list. Actually,
finally.
Now that you're playing 76 or have been for a year, Catherine, really taking a break. Double mutations. Opinions on them?
So when they were in daily ops, I really I looked the other way. And now that the reroll is an option, I haven't done a daily ops since reroll was an option.
One of us.
I reroll that every single day. So I didn't really pay any attention when it was double mutations, but the mutated events, those are really cool.
Same. The party pack is a great reward. It adds spice to an event where people actually are. Yeah, I'm exactly the same on that. Double mutation weekend for mutated ops? No, I don't want that. That's stupid. Because you got to enjoy ops in the first place. But mutated events are fun. So looking ahead beyond that, we've got a vendor sale, and then QuakeCon is on the calendar. So we might get some fun stuff at QuakeCon. You never know what's going to happen there. This year is going to be the first in-person QuakeCon in 3 years. So I've helped with the last couple, running virtual events and doing various things for streams and stuff like that. There will be a few streams around it, but not anywhere near as much because it is back in person. We're going to have, the LAN events and a bunch of things happening. So just watch for the news. We'll probably talk about it more next week as there are rumors that what might be there. And then, of course, we'll give you the real info of what happened there in 2 weeks. So yeah, we might get some Starfield footage. People might get some Starfield hands-on time either there or at Gamescom in Europe coming up a few weeks after that. But for Fallout news, who knows? Maybe we hear about the TV show. Maybe we hear about the next gen update, but not much else. And then we've got Meet Week coming end of the month. So that's what we're looking forward to on the calendar. Now, speaking of the TV show, there have been some new leaks.
Ooh.
So have any of you all seen the new pictures circulating around?
I think I scrolled past a post on Twitter that was saying that there was Fallout 2 stuff. Is there any connection to that?
I didn't see any Fallout 2 specific items. They're essentially location shots, outdoors again, because those are the ones that can get better. And you see a Vault-Tec symbol spray painted onto a parking lot. It looks like possibly a medical facility. It looks like they were focusing some different location shots where you have a character walking through, and the character was dressed in a Brotherhood of Steel Knight's outfit, the Under Armour.
The orange jumpsuit thing? Nice.
Exactly. The orange jumpsuit thing with the straps and the carabiners and the D-rings and but the pictures we saw, it actually looked a bit redder. So I don't know if that's going to change in the final print, but the one he was wearing was more of a kind of crimson red. It was darker color than the one you usually see in the game. But it was, you can't say 100% that outfit, but it was that outfit.
Nice.
You've seen Knight Reese prancing around in it enough. You know what it looks like. And so
nightmares.
there was that. There was the Vault-Tec symbol. Then there was a van. Also, it was labeled Hawthorne. So I don't know about this. Is it Hawthorne? I think it's Hawthorne. I don't get this reference, but supposedly they're a medical company, perhaps. People are supposing what it could mean. Yeah, I don't have any more information, but it looks like they are a company that may be working with Vault-Tec because there is a Vault-Tec logo behind the H for Hawthorne on there. So almost like it's a subsidiary or a research technical company that's working with Vault-Tec on, virus type stuff or experimentation. We don't know, but there were a number of things there that indicated that's what it could be. One thing that thinking about this that seems interesting to me is that in-game, almost everything Vault-Tec does is in-house, right? Like Vault-Tec, they are a motivator and instigator for a lot of things. And we know about all their experiments that they're doing for themselves or, often in conjunction with the Enclave early on. But I think maybe for a TV show, it would be better to have separate entities. Does that make sense? And maybe that's why they're bringing like this Hawthorne in, like as a research wing. Instead of being Vault Tech this, Vault Tech that, they've got other companies mixed in.
Or it's like they outsourced the labor, like the company who was building the vault where Nick Valentine is, that really was building the the subway station, but secretly they were called Hawthorne up top because of the extraction company, but it's really Vault Tech underneath, that sort of
So
stuff.
Hawthorne Medical Laboratories, a division of the Vault Tech Corporation.
Thank you. Okay, you found them in the wiki.
Yeah, Fallout television series only.
Oh,
Okay. So
It
the
isn't a reference
supposition
to
like
anything.
I was doing, but at least they agree. I'm glad someone marked this down officially. Yeah, there we go. And we got a copy of the picture. So I'm not actually looking at the pictures while I'm describing them because I wasn't smart to pull them up ahead, but I did look at them plenty earlier. Clint pulling this out. Yeah, division of Vault Tech Corporation. Awesome. So anyway, cool and interesting stuff. We still don't know the plot of the story. We know that some factions are involved. There's some supposition that maybe it's going to be a little bit more like an Outer Limits kind of deal, or things where there are multiple vignettes and stories that we see like different events.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be mostly main characters and following their story, but we'll get some pre-war, we'll get some whatever. I'm just excited to get more leaks, but we don't know anything about when it's coming out still.
Wow, they still haven't gotten a teaser date or anything.
Not in the slightest, no. And as I mentioned last week when we were talking about it a little bit, at this point with SAG-AFTRA joining the writers' strike, being actors as well, that's going to slow down, public appearances and any number of things that might have to happen around a release.
Yeah.
So that might affect it a little bit too.
I don't know if I asked this earlier or not, but do you think it was completed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they finished filming and writing and all that. That was all wrapped in January, February.
Okay.
But then there's just we assumed a significant period of time where they're doing post processing and effects and all that. And then sometimes there are retakes and overdubs and things like that might have to happen.
Okay, and that would affect, of course, the production line, and no one's going to step over the strike line.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully we get some kind of date soon. And I mean, we've been thinking early next year for the show for a long time. If it wasn't October, and really, it's not going to be that near Starfield. That's if anything, I still a next gen update maybe sooner. But that's just wishful thinking. We don't know. It's all supposition. Final thing I wanted to mention for Starfield fans and people anticipating Starfield, because it's hard to be a fan of something not out yet, and yet I am, because my goodness, everything we've seen is gorgeous. 3 Starfield animated shorts. Anyone who's joined Constellation would have gotten an email about these. You'd have to be living under a rock not to see it on your social media, but it doesn't mean that you've actually watched them. Totally get that. We're all busy. So there were 3 videos. They essentially dealt with, you could look at them as maybe origins or just a day in the life, a slice of life of a person living in the settled systems where Starfield is going to take place. Now, the characters, the first one you get was called Super et Ultra, and it showed a kind of courier, delivery guy, or just someone running packages. And he lands on Jemison at New Atlantis, to deliver a package. And there he sees, a sign for the Vanguard. And we know the Vanguard is military wing of, what is the name of the company? Well, it's the United Colonies. They're kind of their military wing, and it's a mix of a number of tasks. We don't know everything they do so far, but mostly military. And then while looking at this, a couple of Vanguard people walk by, and so he gets inspired. He's like, you know what? You can see it in his face. He's like, I need something more. This is maybe the life I want. And so he goes, you see him sign up, go through and become part of the Vanguard. Then you see him going on missions, earning some credits, being really successful, getting all the credits, getting a nice apartment in the sky here at New Atlantis. But what he really wants is to get back out there. And so it ends with him kind of flying out. So you get basically day in the life of a pilot with the Vanguard. Then the next one that you have is...
I kept waiting for him to get shot in the head.
Oh, really? You thought that was going to happen? Okay, he's a courier. He's a courier. Yes. Yeah, that courier reference was pretty on the nose for fans of New Vegas. All kinds of conspiracies there. The next one shows an orphan by Aquila City. So Aquila City, as we know, is the main city of the 3-Star Collective. These essentially focused around some of the main cities. So you had New Atlantis first one. This was Aquila City, and it shows an orphan coming. He's working on a ship. They're working on a ship trying to get off planet, but they're having trouble getting everything to work. Like you can tell that they maybe either they landed here and couldn't get back off because of issues with the ship. They've been stranded, or they've been here for most of their lives because they are an orphan here, and that's made apparent later in the story. But they're trying to get that final part. You know what I mean? They need to go to Tashi Station to get power converters in order to actually get off of here. So you see them walking into Aquila City, frustrated they can't get their ship flying. And there they see a statue, and they're kind of reminiscing on the war 20 years ago when the Freestar Collective and the United Colonies were fighting. And in that, there's a flashback in their mind, and you can see that this person's parents were in that fighting, and they're wearing mech suits, and they were killed in battle. So he's got that memory there, or they've got that memory. And ultimately, that's why I don't know if they've been there all along and they've been trying to build a ship to get off planet for a long time, or if this is where they're from and it's a taste of home. Anyway, they see someone, a local being attacked, and they go in, they interfere, they intervene and keep that from happening. And at the time, the local offers them money, but instead they find the ship part that they need in a ship nearby. They're like, hey, can I check out this ship you have? They get the part they need. They're like, yay. And then they take off into space. So that's this origin. So you've got the Vanguard person, you've got the Freestar Collective person, and guess which city is going to be the third one?
Markarth?
Yes, Mark. So last one is Neon, of course. He's doing the major cities. And Neon is, of course, the pleasure planet, the trippy fish planet. This is the one where it was originally an all-ocean planet, and Ryujin Corp set up here. Sorry, I'm getting way into the Starfield lore. You guys know I'm already all on this. So Ryujin Corp helped set up here where they were trying to, start a fishery. And well, they discovered that there were special properties to the fish juice, and it makes people be tripping. So, of course, it became
Captain's Blend.
Yeah, Captain's Blend, exactly. It became a whole industry around it, and eventually became a vacation destination. And ultimately, they were told the Aurora is the name of the substance, can't be sold off planet. So it has to be used only on the planet. We don't know if there's a story reason for that, like if it's just that it's too intense, if it causes issues when it's used off planet, or if there's some kind of symbiotic thing. I don't know. That's my thought, but that's another story. Anyway, so it's on Neon, and Neon is very cyberpunk at this point because it has grown up into a major vacation destination. It is the Vegas of the subtle systems,
Nice.
but like an extreme Vegas. And so you got some street rats there, very cyberpunk, and they're kind of scraping by making a living. And one of them ends up basically in the course of seeing something happen, has been thinking about wanting more, like all these, wanting more. In his case, he's like, well, I want to work for Ryujin, where I feel like I could do more than just kind of rob people. And so they end up in a location where someone from Ryujin is been hurt, and the partner wants to rob him. He doesn't. They fight over it, and ultimately saves them, gets favor, and joins Ryujin Corp. And so, anyways, these are the three stories, slice of life. They're nice tone pieces, and that's the basics for you. I won't get any deeper into it. But I think that these are it could be that these are all characters we're actually going to meet, because in the description of the video, they even give them a name. They say this person is, finding stuff out, like Kent is the Vanguard guy. And looking at from the Starfield trailers, we actually saw that Kent, the character from the one video, looks a lot like the guy you see in front of the Vanguard sign that's giving you a mission in the video, the last reveal. So, I said, what if they're connected? And Freighter in our Discord said, I find it hard to believe that anything they show us isn't highly relevant to the game experience. That said, they love to leave us guessing. So yeah, I think they're dropping some clues for us, not just about a slice of life, but these might actually be NPCs that we're going to meet in the course of play.
I think it's Kent Conley.
He's a big fan of the Silver Shroud. But that's all I got for Iguana Bits. There's not a whole lot on Fallout, but I wanted to get into those Starfield videos too.
Yeah, cool. Great. Thanks for the little update there. Beautiful job. As we're closing the door on the episode here, Jess, you wanted to bring up breakfast food? Who put in the Fallout food? Was that Katherine?
I put that in.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be a quick episode. I didn't know we were getting so in the weeds on Automatron. We can talk breakfast food if you want. I basically say breakfast. What's the best way to start your day? Okay, so for me, breakfast is around 11 or noon, but whatever, your first meal of the day. How do you like to start your day?
I'm generally not a big breakfast guy during the week. On weekends, I like to get a nice, hearty, fat-filled, horrible-for-you breakfast. I'm a big fan of breakfast casseroles where you get the eggs and the cheese and the sausage and mix everything together and bake it for a while. Put a bacon crumble on top. Serve it with a little hollandaise or something. God damn, that's a tasty breakfast.
I love hollandaise
Oh,
sauce.
so
Yeah.
fucking good. For baked items, I like griddle cakes, pancakes, flapjacks, whatever you call them. Usually the thinner the better, but a must is the little crispy edge that you get around. I love when a pancake has a little bit of a crispy edge to it. I'm also a sucker for Belgian waffles. Fucking love Belgian waffles. Usually you try to fill each of the little holes, the little pockets in with a little bit of
You do. That's what they're there for.
real maple syrup. I prefer over like the log cabin Caro stuff.
Real maple syrup is so good.
I like the real maple syrup. I don't really tolerate the log cabin type stuff. And my wife makes a mean ass cinnamon coffee cake. I fucking love coffee cake too. I could eat coffee cake and drink coffee just all day long and be totally fine with that.
So before we go to Catherine, if you could only have one breakfast food, like if there's only one breakfast food you could have for the rest of your life, is there any that you could live with? Like what would it be? What would be your ultimate breakfast food out of that whole list?
I don't know. Everyone goes, well, the casserole has the most components of
That's
different
fine,
things.
yeah.
So, but it's really hard to beat a goddamn Belgian waffle. Ugh. I don't know. What do you think, Catherine? What's your breakfast of choice?
Now that you're talking about the waffle, I think that if for the rest of my life I had to choose one thing, it would definitely be a waffle.
Yeah.
But I'm more of like a whipped cream on top of my waffle.
Yeah.
Oh, good choice. Mhm.
But if I'm doing pancakes, they have to be fluffy.
You
And
like
they
the
can't
fluffy.
be
You
they
don't
can't
like
be
the
burnt.
edge. Yeah.
Yeah, I want the fluffy, maybe like a crispy edge, yeah. And then I love hash browns. It
Oh,
doesn't
fuck
matter
yeah.
how they are, like the shredded or if they're the hash brown patties. I love those. And then sausage. I'm not a bacon person. I had bacon one time when I was like a child, and it made me sick. And
Oh
now, like the
no.
smell of it is just like
Oh,
nauseating for
wow.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really bad. But
That's a
Yeah, because they
tragedy.
put
it
bacon in a
is a
lot of things.
tragedy because I know it's good. I just like now I smell it. I smell it cooking. I just can't. But
That
sausage, I don't
stinks.
have a problem with. I very much believe that sausage links taste better than patties, period.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on the brand and stuff, but I agree
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm with you on the sausage over bacon, but I don't dislike bacon. I like bacon plenty, but I always, if I'm ordering in a restaurant, I'll always get sausage instead of bacon if that's the option. But I think I might prefer patties over links. They seem to be almost two totally different things. One of the patties is usually more of a crumbly thing. Well, actually, no. There's those. I don't know. I like it all. Links are great too. The patties are awesome. Yeah, sausage is good stuff. But could you imagine? You know how bacon is just proliferated every aspect of the culinary world, like how you get bacon flavored this, bacon flavored vodka, bacon flavored cheese, just it's fucking in everything. Could you imagine if there was like sausage in the same sort of like sausage flavored vodka? That just sounds so much more disgusting for some reason. If you got a chocolate bar, because that's a big thing, chocolate bar with a little bit of bacon flavor on it, like chocolate with sausage is just a little
It's
less
not the
appealing.
same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, bacon is a little bit about the smoke and the slight bacon flavor and the
Yeah.
smokiness. Sausage is about meat. You just don't put
The
meat
spice.
in all the things. Oh yeah, the spice too. That's true. That's true. Like our love for scrapple. How about you, Ray?
Scrapple.
So I eat breakfast about the same time you do.
Yes. Awesome.
And I one of my regulars is shakshuka,
Explain that. What's that?
which is eggs poached in a spicy tomato sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good.
But as far as being able to eat one thing all the time, that one's a little tough to to have all the time.
Do you have to make that too from scratch?
It's not hard to make. I have a system down.
Sounds
so,
tasty. Can you
yeah,
spell
that
that
part of
real
it's-
quick? I want to look it up.
I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know. You'd have to try different permeations of what it sounds like.
What's
I don't
it?
remember if it's shakshuka or shuka or what.
And where would that come from?
It's like a Northern African dish.
Shakshuka.
And it uses harissa, which is a spicy pepper paste. And I use the seasoning za'atar, which is
he's
a
just
Middle
making
Eastern
he's just
spice.
making
These
stuff
just
up
like
now.
sci-fi B movies. Yeah, I'm like, wasn't like Sean Connery in a movie
Shakshuka.
called Zatar in like the '60s? Like, what the hell?
No, that was Shashuka from Zatar.
Shashuka Redemption. You guys, this is why we have a Fallout Food channel on the Discord, so that people like Ray, who can actually cook, and some of the rest of us put in pictures of delicious things we are making and or eating. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but if I had to pick one thing to eat all the time for breakfast, it would be my other regular rotation item is chorizo and egg burrito.
Oh, that's a great choice. Yeah, chorizo sausage and egg burrito. Yum.
Yeah. So I used chorizo and egg and tater tots.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yummy.
Basically, you get that casserole in a burrito form. Catherine, chorizo sausage, is that up there for you along with breakfast sausage, or not as
Yeah,
much?
I'll include that. You know, sausage is sausage. I don't discriminate.
Yeah. So that would be that I could eat that every day.
I could eat the hell out of the
sounds so good.
Shashuka. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's tasty, but it's it's a little much to try to eat that every day.
I don't know. I could make a good go of it. That's for dang.
I love
It
it.
says Middle Eastern, Egypt, Israel are the main countries where it's popular. Sweet. I could eat that.
For me, it'd be it's pretty simple. I'll eat lunch food for breakfast, no problem. I don't need breakfast food to wake up. But
Yeah.
for actual breakfast food, I'm either eggs and hash browns chopped. I mean, I don't mind the shredded browns too, and in the various forms, but I like good chops, like home fries, really. You know what I mean? Like eggs and home fries and bacon. That is a kind of perfect meal. But one thing people didn't mention, I'm a big fan of cereal too. Well, having a bowl of cereal for breakfast is actually pretty killer. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, delicious Raisin Bran or granola. You guys know I love granola.
Oh,
so
I fucking love
I
granola.
think if I could just have one thing, it would probably be cereal based. It would probably be a cereal. As much as I like the big breakfast food.
So much variety in a bowl of cereal, and just the nostalgia of Saturday morning in front of the TV with a big bowl of cereal watching cartoons.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and I'm not lactose intolerant, so it's okay. People who are, I know that's different. But the best one, my shakshuka, as it were, would be a really good mushroom omelet with like a savory sauce, like just so rich, like Original Pancake House. You know how much I love them, and like a really good savory omelet is delicious too.
great.
Yeah, a good chicken biscuit's not bad.
Ooh.
Chicken biscuits are great. I used to love corned beef hash. I haven't had it in a number of years, but corned beef hash used to be one of my favorite things ever.
So Clint is down with bacon and eggs and pancakes with maple syrup, bacon and eggs in the States. So that must not be as much of a thing over in Australia. Let's see. Bacon flavored vodka. No one wants that for breakfast. They're more like ew on that.
In Australia,
what else?
In Australia, they
and
have.
I've got a flat top griddle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good for pancakes. Good for eggs.
good for and it's killer for hash browns
Oh yeah, be perfect.
because it's
yeah.
propane powered. So I've got it outside.
Jess,
You can really crank it up hot,
that's nice.
make those things super crispy.
Jess, I was gonna say in Australia for breakfast they have their leftover scorpion pizza from the night before.
Oh gosh. Oh God. Did you see that post? Freighter just making us all sick. And then I'm there talking about Mountain Dew hot dogs. Like I'm gonna pull a freighter and I do my little Mountain Dew hot dog post last week and I'm all proud of myself.
Mm.
You know, it's pretty funny. And then he pulls out Code Red hot dogs.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
I mean, okay, the color is better than green. Okay, I admit red hot dogs better than green hot dogs, but Code Red hot dogs? Ew.
I don't know. I would probably like. I love Mountain Dew, so I'd throw those fucking Mountain Dew hot dogs down my gullet.
Let's go.
I would eat those. I'd eat that.
I'd try them. I wouldn't say no.
And around here, you can stop anywhere and pick up a one of those bright red pickled sausages.
Yep, those
Those
are awesome.
things are tangy. Yeah.
Used to love the pickled bologna out of the deli jar. They don't do that anymore. I don't know why.
You don't get them much. You have to make it at home or have a friend who does them. I had a friend who made them pretty regularly.
Yum.
Go over his house, big old jars with them in vinegar.
With the pickled peppers. Beautiful stuff. All right. Any other breakfast that needs to be mentioned on the way out the door?
I think we're good. Yeah. It seems like people like their traditional breakfast foods, but I like your variety.
Breakfast. I can't believe you brought up Scrapple.
I can't. It's always on my mind. I grew up with it. That was my childhood breakfast food was Scrapple. If it wasn't cereal, it was Scrapple.
It's like loose gelatinous sausage.
I mean, but when you fry it up real good, Scrapple's just real good when it's like nice and fried and crispy.
Yeah.
It's if you don't have
fried
Pennsylvania
forever.
Dutch family or whatever, Pennsylvania German, you might not know. But
It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, you guys. Do we have anything else we need to do tonight? Oh, we got a couple of shouts, it looked like.
sure do. Got a couple of scorecation shouts. So get ready, Mo. Get ready, Mo.
He's
We're gonna shout
ready.
these people out.
Mo's pumped.
Okay. We've got a big scorecation for Angel.
Scorecation!
Our buddy Sulior hit scorecation.
Scorecation!
And coming in with a double scorecation on both PC and Xbox,
Nuh-uh.
Renananananandan.
Good lord.
Scorecation!
He earned 2.
Scorecation!
That's
Good
great.
job, all. And I thought we had a number more, but I checked chat and Facebook. I didn't see them, so it might have been just other friends on stream or something. But yeah, congrats, all. Good. Wait. Oh, no. Clint and Charlene.
Bo-
Scorecation!
Both of them?
Both of them.
Scorecation!
Good job, guys.
Fantastic. Happy scorecation, y'all. Enjoy your time off, but don't forget to get your scout items.
What's your in between game, Clint? I bet his in between seasons game is Fallout 4. I bet.
Or
What do you wanna
more
bet?
76.
No,
or more
4.
70. Because sometimes they keep ranking. You know, I think Randy got over 200 last season.
Wow. That's great.
There in chat, he often does that. Just one more shout out for our friend Jared. Jared's been playing along. He doesn't do feedback, but he plays along and posts pics and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Jared had to wrap his Fallout 4 playthrough. It has died to the dreaded long play mod disease, where enough mods long enough, things go wrong.
Yeah, some gets
Yeah,
crossed
we're
up
getting to
there.
that point where it's going to start getting dicey. I
Yep.
mean, I even had a freeze up, when I was playing this week.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it, but I loaded in my Fallout 4 game and clicked on the little icon to start, and it was like, "Oh, do you own this game or disc? Please insert the disc." I'm like, "It's in there." I'm like, "Oh fuck, what happened?" And they're like, so I finally got it loaded, but then like none of my mods were. I had to re-download all the mods. I had to get my load order
Seriously?
together. I
It
had to
lost
do-
the local save for it?
something happened and I had to reload, download, get my, the load order back. And so, like, I don't know what happened, but it was like, in order to play this, you need to download the DLC. I'm like, fucking Far Harbor? What? I already have that. So it was just, I had to I didn't have to reinstall the game, but I had to like re-download and
Somehow
activate
everything,
stuff.
yeah, it lost track of everything on you.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have it physical, but even when you have stuff physical these days, it downloads the digital copy.
I was playing remotely while I was on my trip, but
Mhm.
that shouldn't affect anything. Like, I don't know
No,
why
it
that
shouldn't.
happened.
And this is all the same Xbox. I mean,
Yeah,
unless your home
yeah.
Xbox switched or Mo was playing it on the other one. I don't know. That's odd.
Really strange. Anyway,
But yeah.
I got it all figured out, and it took me a few minutes to get everything back in order, but at least it told me which mods I needed to download, so that's nice.
But
But,
RIP to the playthroughs that can no longer
yeah.
keep going. Y'all made a valiant try. I'm up to about 150 hours on this character now. I'm 6 days on my save file, and I'm sure everybody's getting up there a bit. It's time keeps passing, and it's hard, especially if you swap out mods. And on Xbox, as much as we have certain issues, we can only load so many mods. So in some cases, it's going to be more stable, but it really depends. It's the mods you choose. It's what you do, what a mess you make. Sometimes, Ray, do you find that resetting areas, it's the mess you make? You know what I'm talking about. Some people get up to hijinks.
Hey, they warn us. They're like, if you are going to play with mods, please do so at your own risk. They give you a warning.
Ray, do you find resetting areas can help? Like when you're having more crashes and mod issues and a bloated save file, like if you go to a location, you sleep for 30 days off and on and stuff like that, like reset the areas. Do you think that would help sometimes with stability? I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Lost cause.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of counts against you is, when you start getting all these settlements and you start filling up the workbenches with stuff, and you've got all these, weapons and armor and all this stuff, all that adds to the memory load on the game. And, if you're a mega hoarder, you can get in trouble really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, that makes sense. If the kind of person who collects 50 suits of power armor, all custom, has them lying around various settlements, that sort of thing. It's funny the things that'll go. But my goodness, we've done a 3-hour tour tonight. This is definitely an over 3-hour show at this point.
3-hour tour. Are you the millionaire?
No.
I'll be your wife.
Well, okay, sounds good.
All right, you guys. That sounds like a nice, full show. Great to be back and having fun playing Fallout again. Katherine, would you please let everyone know where they could follow you on X?
Wherever.
My Twitter, I'm not very active on my Twitter, but my Twitter is the same as my Xbox handle, which is Pendarosa831. That's Pendarosa 831.
Pendarosa 831.
Yep.
Awesome. Look her up there, everybody. Katherine, we've been enjoying your feedback all season long. Please keep up the good work. Always looking forward to hearing your adventures every week. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you can find her on X at SleepIs4T and at Dames2Game, who just did a crossover with Shalene's podcast over there. So everyone go check out the latest episode of Dames. Jess, thanks so much.
Follow me on the Tuxedo Rental Network. X. Like, I look at that. It looks like a menswear logo to me. Like, I mean, I know it could be, porn probably, or, whatever else X is for, but it does not mark the spot. I am very unimpressed.
It is super lame.
It's still Twitter to me.
You can find Ray on X at RayLB. Also, for all your No Man's Sky needs, please check out at BBCISSS on X. For all of your butcher,
Leo
baker,
Laporte will be happy.
Candle maker in space. Who will be happy?
Leo Laporte.
Leo Laporte. That almost sounds like Sorry, I had to drop it in. Who's Leo Laporte?
He's a tech reporter from when tech started.
Oh, nice. And
his network is called Twit.
Yes.
And so there was a little kerfuffle when Twitter started up.
Oh boy!
But he and Jack came to an agreement.
And now Elon has run it into the X. All right, you guys. I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Innuendo pull out
Screws.
with the straps and the carabiners and the D-rings.
Working on her.
Sick.
Bust out your ripper.
Nice.
Nice. You're pretty buff.
I don't acknowledge you.
This is all she's giving me.
That is just such a great story.